And welcome to Above Average Joe's podcast, episode number 11. And it's a big day today because it's trade deadline day, right?
The NHL, yep.
And it's such a big day, and because we know everybody didn't want to just listen to Heath talk to himself all evening, we brought in a NHL ringer to make the conversation a little more lively. Oh, right. I forgot something. I'm Kyle.
I'm Heath. And
our guest is
the one and only
Scott Sauer. And back in the control room there is Matt, as always. He'll be jumping in and out and making sure everybody's looking top-notch. But let's move on to what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start with, obviously, the NHL deals. And we'll break them all down and go from there.
We'll talk a little, because we've got a Washington Capitals guy here.
Oh, he's probably super happy.
So we'll talk about Ovi sniping his 700 and hopefully...
And sniping his buddy.
Well, and his buddy, but hopefully we don't talk too long about it, because he may just start peeling down. He gets a little excited for his Capitals, but anyway. And then we're going to move into the Riders. As always, we'll do a little Rider piece. Not so much just the Riders. We're going to talk more so about the new playoff format that the CFL is proposing and some thoughts on it. Pros, cons, whatever. Like I said, our thoughts on it. And then we're also going to move right into some Astros Major League Baseball type stuff.
Death threats and stuff.
Well, it's the story that just keeps on giving, and it just doesn't seem to go away. And somehow the juggling of balls by the front office, well, I guess they're starting them on fire now. That's their thing. You all sorted out there, son, or?
I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you'd have to hold the back of your seat. You got the training wheels off. You're just...
I get pretty excited.
Okay.
Over here.
Sort of like when someone talks Capitals with Scotty.
We're going to find out.
All right. And then we'll end it on some NFL stuff.
NFL.
They're going to extend the playoffs, and we got a CBA issue going on right now. A little bit about that. I don't want to talk too much about the business of it. And then a couple little stories there, and we'll end on some XFL news. That's the itinerary. You got that, Matty?
I got it.
Yeah, you plugged her into the old speak and spell. We're ready to rock.
I think so.
I guess we're ready to roll.
Okay.
And you've got half an hour for me to explain why Ovechkin's going to break Gretzky's record.
We've got all the time in the world.
Just hope you had that
Just
set
ask
aside
Keith.
for me.
At what point do you start undressing? If you say 35 minutes, you can have the 30. Anyway, moving on, we've got, Jesus, like, what the hell did they say? 20-ish deals in the NHL. But before we get, whoa, I got a mic. I dropped a mic. Maybe.
What happened there?
I don't know. Maybe it's saying, Heath, you should be quiet. Oh, hit me in the face. Don't say that too loud.
No, that's okay.
Oh, good. You hear me now, Maddie?
No.
You guys take it. Go.
Somebody else. Here. You talk in this mic.
Okay, well,
I will fix that mic.
Good solution, my friend.
Good thing this is a live show.
yeah, well, good. Technical issue. It happens. Anyway, there you go. Oh, good. I'll lean up. So we had a little story, maybe the story of the week, despite all the trade deadline stuff. You guys probably are all familiar with the Zamboni driver who seemed to be able to beat the Leafs. I thought it was pretty comical. Have you ever driven a Zamboni?
I have not.
You have not?
No.
You're like the old scraper. You just get a shovel. Hey,
It's a shovel, yeah.
anything with a motor, they're just like, no way. This guy can't be trusted. You drove tractor on the farm, though,
Yeah,
didn't you?
at least did that, yeah.
This is the same thing.
Yeah, I could probably...
You could probably wing it.
Yeah, I could drive it.
You wouldn't walk her right into the lobby on two wheels, or
I don't, and I've never played net, but I probably could have won that game.
well, the Leafs probably don't want to find out if you can, because losing to a Zamboni driver is probably not the best thing in the world. Oldest netminder to win his regular season debut, $500, and he gets to keep his jersey. Do you think that's...
And 15 minutes of fame.
Did you see his list of interviews today? He had like 7.
He had to because he was all over the TV.
He was everywhere.
Like,
and I mean, good for him. I hope they pay him a little bit of money, but
Take your 15 minutes.
well, for sure. But $500. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure the leverage is in his corner in terms of negotiating power.
yeah.
Could
So
they not give him? I worked it out today. The average salary, if you gave him half of a game check, that would have been like $4,500. Like, couldn't you give the guy $4,000?
well, they said maybe they passed a hat around the room. Or
That's
something.
what I heard too. So I don't know what he got out of that, but it was probably more than $500.
Yeah, I would think so.
I thought that was a little ridiculous, but at the same time, it was pretty cool. It pretty much threw ice on the whole idea, though, that the Leafs are going to make the playoffs or do any damage in the playoffs. I thought they'd have a hard time preparing for the Bruins or someone like that, but
I found it interesting, like Burke and Christopher Stieg were just like, this can't happen again. This is ruins the integrity of the game. Like, it's a great story and everything like that. I kind of understand what they're saying.
so what was their alternative?
Well, that there's like a loophole that you can't actually have like a pro goalie. It has to be.
Well, he's not really a pro. He's
No, he's not. But the emergency backup can't be like a pro goalie.
right.
It's stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
So if I was there from some other semi-professional team, I just wanted to take in a Leafs game, I couldn't come out
yeah,
of
you
the
couldn't
stands
come and play.
because I'm under contract with someone else.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. But at the same time, I mean, this guy's, he's there, he's available, he's on the list of, if this does happen. Like,
It was such an interesting thing, though, like, psychologically, I'm like, I kind of understand the Hurricanes. Like, I've never seen a team bear down like they bear down. Like, it's
True.
like, if you could play defense like that for him, why aren't you like that all the time? Like, that's the way a professional team should be, right?
yeah,
And then the Leafs, it's like they probably thought they had it in the bag, especially after he let the first 2 goals in on the first 2 shots. In my head, I'm like, I was kind of like wanting this to go.
First 3.
Yeah.
First 3.
In my head, I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to go south on the guy.
well, just to prove that, a regular dude can't just walk in, strap on, and do anything in an NHL caliber game. But they did. They jumped in front of pucks.
Oh, yeah, like,
They were on the defensive side of everything, every chance they could be, right? So, I mean,
it was funny. Even the third shot he got, they threw it at his feet, and he stopped it, and he didn't know where the puck was. He had happy feet and that moving all over the place. But,
well, I mean, be that guy. I mean, wouldn't you be? I'd
can't
be
imagine.
nervous as hell,
yeah, like,
And I mean, his wife, who wasn't even in the game, blew up Twitter. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, with 2 words essentially. Like, but I mean, can you blame her? Could you imagine if your spouse just jumps into that type of environment?
Yeah.
Like, that's
so, like, do the best you can, right? Like,
Yeah.
so,
yeah, no harm, no foul. But I don't know, like Burke and those guys didn't offer any kind of explanation as to what a good alternative would be.
Well, I
Like,
think they're thinking, Burke had mentioned, like, Katie Whitmore would have to vet the goalies that are emergency backups, essentially. So, if
So,
you're an emergency backup, there's an expectation of, like, the quality. Of the
have tryouts and not get a contract.
yeah, basically.
Like-
In Toronto, you would have a better guy that his last hockey game was like the Allen Cup and I don't even think it was the Allen Cup, it was like provincial playoffs, and he let in 11 goals and 45 shots in the
So
Allen Cup.
would a guy like Burke, who doesn't sound like he offered much in the way of a solution.
No, his solution was that.
Oh,
that
okay.
and he definitely said it when he talked about it at the GM meeting.
Well, true, but why was it talked about? Why would it be talked about at the GM meeting? I mean, if the team's in a pinch, they had a guy to go in a pinch. Would you rather just say, wow, the 7th defenseman now has to strap on the pads?
Yeah.
Like, at least the guy knows how to move in goalie pads. I mean,
That's one of the things that was mentioned. I think Kelly Reedy was saying how Charlie Huddy used to go in for the Kings or bore his equipment and played in practice, and he was a pretty good goalie.
well, and I know a couple guys that later in life just said, well, I'm kind of bored. I want to learn how to play goal. And they play goal now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're super good and but at the same time, they're willing, they're half decent, and they're available, right? Like, if you're Carolina, would you rather forfeit the game?
Oh, yeah.
Like, some of the alternatives kind of suck, but at the same time, I don't know, review it all you want. The dude was there and willing,
And they won.
and it was, that's probably the worst part of it, is that the guy won. If he'd lost, it doesn't come up at the GM meeting, right? So, I don't know, I kind of think at least if a guy goes in there and bails you out of the situation, like, imagine if that had been the first period, both guys are hurt, He has to play 2.5 periods of hockey.
Yeah.
Like,
well, as it was, he played
what
half
were you going to do?
right?
Forfeit the game or send everybody home, all the fans? You know,
it's
they're
such a
paying
rare
lots of
thing.
money.
Like, what does it happen
True.
4 times? But the thing is, it generally doesn't happen for half a game where the guy actually has to go in there and play it out.
Yeah, like that's what,
when we were watching, we were just like, "This is awesome."
How can you not?
It's publicity you can't really like for the NHL. Like,
oh, tons. Like, what other sport would you be able to do that? Maybe basketball. You know, like if you ran out of left tackles in a football game or O-linemen,
well, that's what
would you just go to like the fourth row, pick the guy who has the biggest gut, and just say you're in?
That's what Versteeg was saying. Like, he's like, in the NFL, you wouldn't have like Joe Blow off the street going and play quarterback. Well, to me, it's not a comparable thing. Like,
yeah, but I mean, still, the guy's there. He's available. Yeah. I think they could have paid him a little more, but good on Carolina though for bringing him down and letting him run the horn there pre-game like they do with all their celebrities, the Storm Warning or whatever they call it.
They're selling his t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
and speaking of getting paid, I think they said something about him getting a cut of the t-shirt sales.
Yeah, it was 50%. I was going to say that too. The 50% of the t-shirt sales go to the kidney foundation of his choice because he's had a kidney transplant 15 years ago. So pretty cool story even on top of that. But then 50% of it he gets to keep. So I mean, hopefully they sell enough t-shirts that you can get $500 out of it. But I mean, pretty cool nonetheless. And 15 hours later, he was at the rink practicing with the Marlies the next day. Like, dedicated. I like the guy. He's a grinder. Something the Leafs don't have. That's probably why they lost. But nothing like a $500.
Whoa, there we go. They lost because they suck.
Well, nothing like a $500 goalie shutting down a $40 million offense. Hey?
What?
They thought their problems were on the back end.
Well,
can I move this table?
You sure can. Sorry about that, bud.
Oh, no good. No worries.
Don't want you to be too far away from your drink.
Well, it's half empty already. Oh. Anyway, moving on to some of the deals. So there's quite a few, like I said. We'll just go to the old trade tracker here. We're just going to scroll down. And there's no doubt a few head scratchers. Some of these, when you first look at them, take the surface look, it's like, well, that's not a hockey deal, or that's a salary cap deal. You know, there's not a ton of them that are, you know, pure hockey deals in my mind. But nowadays, a pure hockey deal is a salary cap deal. So, we never really got to it last week, but the Jason Zucker deal to the Penguins, I think the Penguins made out all right, not just on trade deadline with a few of their acquisitions, but Zucker coming in as a guy they really wanted for a while. Their first round is a conditional. I can't remember what the conditions are offhand, but still, a Penguins first rounder is probably 25 or lower range. Yep. Kalen Addison's a pretty darn good prospect, right? And Galchenyuk is just a bit piece. Like, yeah,
Galchenyuk. He's one of those guys that's never going to pan out.
No, he's a bit player, and he's never going to be more than
fourth team now, right?
Yeah,
he's under 25.
I don't think he's going to make a 25 point season, maybe ever at this point. He's that one at the bar everybody took a turn on, and they're just done.
They've had enough.
Yeah, she can just go home, or we're going to go home before we end up with her. So poor Galchenyuk, but not really. And then another one, well, the Islanders made a few pretty savvy deals. Getting Andy Green was one of them. They they just gave up David Quenneville, who's kind of just a guy, AHL, and a second round pick. And, you know, the value for D, man,
2021 second round pick.
So a little further out.
I don't think it's ever a bad thing to trade for another team's captain, right?
True. As bad as the Devils were, Green being a captain, he'll be a good locker room guy. He'll do his job. He'll be a pro. And who knows what the second round pick will get you. So, that being said, though, too, the Islanders landing Peugeot. The Islanders look like a team that's looking to try to get all in here. I'm not too sure how far.
It's a buzzsaw there. Like, I don't know who's coming out of that division.
Total crap.
Like, I don't want to play.
I wouldn't want to play the Islanders. They're sneaky.
They're structured. They're as good as any team. Like,
and Peugeot, I don't know. looking at the deal, giving him, what was it, 6 years? Not too bad. He's,
Just over $5 million, I think.
Yeah, it was 5. So you kind of start to question, at least in my mind, I start to question whether or not him at $5 million, why wasn't he at 27 years old, you sign him to a 6-year deal, or 5-year deal in Ottawa. How is that something they were going to balk at?
Yeah, I mean, it's good value.
I mean, I think at the end of it all, they probably didn't want to pay a guy $5 million who, if you're a fully playoff type team, is going to be a third liner.
Yeah.
Pajot's on a bad team, or even the Ottawa Senators, is probably a first, borderline second center.
Right.
But on a team that's a playoff contender,
third or fourth,
he's probably a third. That's pretty much the role. He'll chip in. He can play a little D. He's an all-around guy. Win a few face-offs. That's what you'd want out of a third center. So, that being said, do you pay a first and a second and a conditional third for a third center? Plus give him the deal?
If you need a third center.
I think it's almost better if he's not a rental, giving up those assets. At least then you got a good, decent player locked in for 5 years. So
right.
It's like when they trade the guy who has a year left in his contract, he always gets a little more for him because you're added value there.
Right. Well, and Pajot, if he doesn't sign that deal, that looks pretty steep to get a rent.
Yeah. What's going to amount to like a third line
We
center?
need to get closer there, buddy.
Sorry.
There you go. Pretend it's Ovi's junk. It's almost phallic. It's shaped.
Oh, he's having another kid. Did you know that?
Did you?
Just announced today.
Are you
Is
carrying
it yours?
No, it's not mine.
No? You got one in the oven? That's what you're saying?
Him and my boy are going to be line mates in about 20 years.
Okay. Sounds good. So a White Russian and what? What's your ancestry?
Mixed bag.
Mixed bag. Heinz 57 and a White Russian. Sounds like just missing the steak dinner there. Baked potato. Yeah, anyway, Islanders, I thought, looked like a team that was pretty aggressive and made some savvy deals to get maybe a little bit further down the road, not just today, but tomorrow kind of thing, too, with Pajot extending. That, to me, was kind of the thing with that deal. So, the Lightning, I heard a few people say the Lightning did all right.
I heard one person say that.
I'll just kind of go with a little bit of fatherly advice that I got one time on a job site. And this is a construction job site full of toxic masculinity and everything else. Okay? But once you're halfway in, you may as well be all the way in. And that's kind of where the Lightning are. They're halfway in. They're in that window to win a cup. They can't half-ass it. So if you have to overpay, I guess you overpay. But they started with 2 first-round picks, and they shopped them both away. Now, do you feel like Blake Coleman's a guy that, for first, is good value?
Numbers, 20-goal scorer already.
Right. On a bad team.
But again, probably a guy that's going to end up on the third line, right?
Right. So that's is a top prospect like Nolan Foote, who is also a first-round pick.
I'm thinking that the Lightning probably soured on him a little bit and don't think he maybe is the guy that
right. Well, or he's just not going to fit in the lineup any day soon, right?
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Remember Bobby Ryan when he was with the Ducks?
Yeah.
He was the 4th best offensive weapon. Well, the top 3 only played the power play.
Yeah.
He'd have better numbers if he could get on the power play, but there was just no room for him on the power play. So it's like, we can get other things that we need rather than this guy sitting when we could really use his skills. So, I don't know. To me, Blake Coleman, solid player, but there's a lot of solid players in here that are rentals, and you didn't give up a former first-round pick, blue chip prospect, plus a first-round pick to acquire. Coleman, I believe he's a UFA. I could look that up for you, but I believe both the guys they signed were UFAs. So,
that's a pretty high price for a rental then, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I'll just go down here. But yeah, they also made a deal for Goodman. Yes.
Or Goodrow.
Goodrow. Sorry.
Barclay.
And they gave up a first for him. So you go from 2 firsts, which were probably in bottom half of the draft, if not bottom third, right? Here's Coleman. Oh, he's got 1.8 left. So there's a cap-strapped team that has 2 years out of a guy, right? So, yeah, and Goodrow.
I think the extra year on those contracts
made the difference.
From a second to a first rounder, right?
But you look at these guys' point totals, and ages, are they really worth firsts? Third line guys are worth first round picks. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cheap bastard. I know you're a cheap bastard, but I mean, I kind of think if you could get a better deal,
if you can get a 20-goal scorer on the third line for $2 million, that's a good play.
Right.
Or a good move.
Anyway, but another team that was selling at the deadline was the Kings. They sold a few players off, but the Canucks getting Toffoli a little while ago. I like Tyler Toffoli, and I think with him and Besser and what the Canucks are doing, if he re-signs there, wow. Like, pretty decent players, good core, good value, everything. And they got probably two of the most, top 5 to 10 exciting players in the league in Hughes and Pettersson. Yeah. So, and they're on a deal for the next 2 years, this year and next year. So it's like the window's kind of now, value-wise, cap-wise, and they're built right as far as I'm concerned. So Toffoli, I thought, was a good deal, even though the second-round pick, a couple of AHLers in the deal, and a conditional fourth, I think, if they win the cup or some shit like that. But
yeah, Vancouver's one of those teams.
A fourth is really not substantial.
You've kind of been expecting them to falter all along, right? Like Vancouver, you didn't think they were going to be there, and now they're solid opposition, and they can.
I don't know about you guys, but
grabs, really.
I've been waiting all the way till Christmas. I was waiting for them to trip and fall. It's like overachieving. Eventually, you're going to fall on your own nose.
They'll do what the Leafs do.
And then,
I was thinking of crossing over into the CFL with the Bombers. You always expect them to do that, right?
Yeah, till they win a cup.
Well, exactly, once every 30 years.
Do you guys not feel a little bit bad for Leafs fans?
Like,
no.
No.
Now it's just funny.
I think it's because my wife's Leafs fan.
If they weren't so obnoxious.
My uncle's a Leafs fan.
It's just like
and my dad, depending on what day you ask him, he's a Leafs fan.
They're kind of like the Riders, such a loyal fan base and everything like that, and then just cannot do anything right or have any success.
But that's where the Riders are better.
They still celebrate 90. Was it 93 or 94 when they made it to the conference finals? Like,
you can wipe your ass with a silver medal.
Doug Gilmore days. Like
Jesus. No, that's true. The thing I don't like with Toronto fans is they seem to think somehow they're smarter. And like, even listening to TSN,
just like their GM, I was going to say, just like their GM.
But that's sort of the thing. Even today, they're just like, well, he didn't make any deals really. And, I think he's a little baffled as to how to make this team better. And
that's not a good answer from your GM. I don't know what to do.
This guy's a wonder kid. He's a genius.
At what?
Yeah.
So when are you, as a genius,
at what?
stuck for a fucking answer?
You're a genius.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have sat on my thumbs.
And you're never stuck for an answer.
I'm never stuck for an answer.
I'm sorry, I don't think you're smart enough to turn around the Leafs.
Want to bet? Give me a shot.
He has just as good a shot as anybody else has.
You got a long ways, especially now they're tied. Their hands are tied.
Well, the first thing you do is you don't overinvest in a bunch of kids with no vets around.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to teach them? You threw a coach under the bus who knows how to make proven winners and proven NHLers out of a lot of young, super talented guys. Mm-hmm. And if anyone should know, it's probably the guy who's running the show in Shanahan, because Shanahan won a cup under that guy, if I'm not mistaken. He should appreciate how good he is.
You need a hard-ass coach to make millionaires play defense, right? Like,
no, for sure. And I mean,
what's going to make Matthews, Marner, and all those guys commit to both ends of the rank? It's not some guy who's going to let him get away with stuff. Like
accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, you hired a kid and you hired him over a proven guy in a GM like Lou Lamoriello. Lou Lamoriello literally made chicken salad out of chicken shit with a small market team in New Jersey for many years. That should be appreciated. That should be respected, especially by a guy like Shanahan, who had to win cups and play teams like a New Jersey Devils to get to where he got to win his cups. He should appreciate it. And he also had a guy in Scotty Bowman who was a hard ass, who could be a little mean at times, but knew how to win. Well, Babcock's kind of the next generation's Scotty Bowman. Yeah. So for him to throw all that out, basically he's putting his faith in analytics.
Yeah.
And this new way to win cups. I'm sorry, Leaf fans. I'm sorry, but overspending has been done before.
Mhm.
It's been done before. It's not a new concept. That's all you're doing. You're overspending. Why are we talking about the fucking league?
Sorry, I brought it up.
Sidebar. You
I
just
can't
know how to
imagine
hit
being
that nerve with me.
Yeah,
don't
I
you,
can't
Scotty?
just imagine being a Leafs fan and signing Marner for that $11 million, and then like 3 weeks later, Braden Point signing for 8.5. Like that's like what's wrong with
Pretty
the Leafs
equivalent
right now.
players, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I know you're worth 8.5, but how's 11? Like, I want to sell T-shirts to that guy.
Mhm.
Maybe he'll buy some of that Hurricane guy's T-shirts. Hey, give them to the family.
Anyway, we can get back on
Let's
track.
get back on track. The Rangers and the Hurricanes. I don't know. The Hurricanes acquired this Joey Keane, and I don't know. I was looking at it, and you're kind of like, this Gauthier is a high-end skill guy. I think he's actually maybe going to take off with some legit, playing time in the top 9, maybe even top 6 there by next year sometime. That could be a steal of a deal. I'm not sure why the Canes did it, other than to maybe clear up some room on the roster to get some other guys in. But they did bring in 2 defensemen and 1 forward. So it's like, not too sure. The Jets getting Dylan DeMilo for a third. That was a pretty good value. The Jets are banged up. I thought it was a good deal. Enough about that. The Ottawa Senators getting another pick. Did you see how many picks they
yeah,
have?
that's ridiculous.
They have 3 firsts,
It's
4
12
seconds.
in total, isn't it?
They have, what was it? Yeah, sorry, 9 in the first 3 rounds.
It better be a good draft, or there better be some quality prospects there.
Well, here's the thing: if you're, and they're potentially in the lottery with a pick. Say you get second or third overall, that Byfield would be a good option at second or third overall, right? Potentially. But if you're Ottawa, you need some splash. You need some wow, right? Young,
Like maybe package a few of those picks,
Right.
and climb up.
If you
there's
were New
someone there.
Jersey, say, or Detroit, one of those 2 teams that presumably would be the first overall pick, if the Senators are second or third, would you take 3 firsts and say, "Here you go, New Jersey, I'll take Lafreniere first overall"?
Yes.
It would be tempting,
Yeah, you just don't get players like you don't get the stars like you
like that. But I mean, with 3 firsts, like how much would it take? At least they got the firepower to make it an option.
Yeah, why wouldn't
It
you?
would be pretty cool, pretty interesting. But the Senators, in terms of a quick rebuild with a lot of picks, they've got some actual decent players there that just need a little seasoning. You throw Lafreniere in there, it accelerates the whole thing.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I just thought that many picks that early, crazy. Let's talk about the Capitals.
Oh, he's already giddy.
Oh yeah.
Brendan Dillon. So, that deal, second and a third, conditional third. I think it's a pretty good haul for the Sharks, considering their playoff positioning right now. But I watched the Capitals play the Penguins.
Mhm.
Dillon is a way better player than
He's
people
a guy
think.
that is perfect pairing for your number 1 center. Or no, sorry, number 1 D man. He's your perfect shutdown guy. He'll cover up when that guy goes on offense, like
Yeah,
John Carlson. Because to be honest, John Carlson isn't the greatest defenseman.
Malkin showed that in
Roasted
that
him
game.
the other
You
night.
see that?
Yeah, like I watch every Caps game, and it
With your
happens
hands on or
it,
off?
it happens a lot more frequently than I'd like to see. Is John Carlson getting roasted on D? So Dylan's a perfect pairing. Plays his own end of the ice. That's it. Nothing fancy.
He was actually got in there and mixed it up.
Oh, with Malkin there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
he
Malkin-
checks
Malkin kind of started that, and
regretted it.
yeah, and regretted it. It was funny because Malkin was willing to throw some jabs while the linesman was sitting in between them, and then when the linesman got out, Malkin hands up,
Paper tiger.
wanted no part of it. But
Yeah.
Dylan's a big guy, like he's like 6'4", I
I
think.
think he's
225,
6'4" or something.
and he's a good skater. Like he's
Yeah, like he's not going to get caught not being quick enough, right? So,
and
I mean, pair him on one line and he's a shutdown, stay-at-home guy, which, like you said, frees up Carlson. I was also really impressed with Kempney because he's a guy that maybe has a little more upside offensively than a Dillon, but at the same time, him being on that second pair, he gets some pretty good matchups too. He does a very good job. Like I was wicked impressed with how good those 2 guys are, and seeing them in the expansion draft get a guy like Nate Schmidt leaving town and stuff, like good players, good young players. They have other good players.
It goes into the Caps' identity of a big, strong team and laying
Yeah.
They take the body, like they're a physical team.
So, Kempney making 2.5, Dylan's making 1.6, but a UFA.
Yeah, because
If they can extend,
was retained.
right now, if they can extend him for roughly what he was making,
I think it was.
That's a pretty savvy extension for them. A 3 or 4 year deal maybe. I mean, you keep talking about how old your caps are. Look at how many UFAs are in next year.
Yeah.
Like Kovalchuk, Gudis, who's probably going to go, and Dylan, right? And Holtby, who's freeing up $6 million.
So I think this will be Holtby's one song.
It will be, but I mean, at the same time, you have $6 million that you can open up, throw a little at Dylan, maybe get Kovalchuk back for peanuts. Like they're basically bringing back the exact same team. That window is actually more open than a guy realizes.
What I'm a little worried about is they go from like a San Jose model where they go from contender to old.
Really
I don't see that.
I
don't see that with them. But
here's the difference: if you got 2 cups,
San
Jose has no cups.
Yeah,
right?
exactly right.
So, I mean that being the difference. Next deal we're going to talk about. I actually thought Montreal did pretty good, but they should have went a little further in terms of dealing guys. I still think that if you're going to do a rebuild, and they need to rebuild, I know they've been banged up.
They didn't want to get rid of Petrie.
Petrie would have netted them as much as Pajot.
Yeah.
Maybe more. He's actually, I think, a little better player overall. So that being said, you get a first and a second out of that. First, maybe 2 firsts out of a guy like Petrie. Tatar's not getting younger. He's 29, 30 years old. Yeah, he's playing well, but he's not part of your rebuild.
Yeah.
So cash out. Why do you want this guy to be a UFA this year, next year? He's not going to bring you anything. Get while the getting's good. Load up on picks and go. So, I don't know. Bergevin did pretty good in terms of the value he got for the guys he traded. But as long as the deals are out there where you can get good value like he was getting, maybe it's time to just sell the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Burn it down. And I mean, if it wasn't for Weber and Price's contracts having as many years left on them, they might have been options too.
Yeah.
Would you trade a Shea Weber if he had 1 more year on the deal?
Oh yeah.
Right. And if your team looking to contend, you can maybe soak that up for the window that you have open to you. So I don't know. Montreal getting rid of Scandella was a pretty good haul of a second and a conditional 4th. And the Blues, that deal was simply to get Bouwmeester's replacement, at least in terms of some minutes. Maybe not overall, but I mean, that's essentially the only deal the Blues made. And if it wasn't for Bouwmeester being hurt like he was, scary as it was, I don't think that deal was made. So moving on, we'll go right over because we talked Leafs and we're not going back there. Dennis Malgin and
you mean Ty Domi without the fighting?
So he has a really big head.
No, skip that one.
Skip that one. And Mason Marchment, that's AHLers. That's getting rid of your empty bag of chips for another empty bag of chips. Alec Martinez, they'll go into the Vegas Knights. The Kings did really well again with 2 seconds.
Yep.
No conditionals. They're straight up 2 seconds. And Alec Martinez is a good defenseman. And I think getting a little bit of reinforcement for the Knights and getting the Leonard deal, I don't know about you, I think it takes care of their back end.
Yeah, no, I like
and it
the
frees
Knights.
up the forward group to do what they did.
Yeah.
So
No, there's nothing not to like about the Knights. Like they're legit cup contenders.
Yeah, and I said a couple weeks ago I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs as it stood.
Mm-hmm.
Fleury having some issues in terms of his own personal life stuff. I hope he sorts out. But
they also play him a ton. Like
he's their dude. But that's the thing with the Leonard deal. That wasn't an indication, and I mean, I think I heard somebody say it somewhere. Not an indication of how good or what they think of Marc-Andre.
No, it's give the guy some break. Like
it's Malcolm Subban is really the problem there. They needed a reliable backup, if not for today, to make sure they get into the playoffs, but also if they do, you have another option.
Yeah. Well, what's the stat they show about goalies that play more than 60 games? It just
there's a
it
tail
just doesn't
off.
work. Like you gotta keep your goalies fresh. You gotta have to have a decent backup.
Yeah,
and you're gonna see that's why back to the Leafs, Anderson can't.
But
that's too much load.
They dealt Hutchison off, but I mean, I still think Campbell's not a very good goalie.
No,
he's a moderately acceptable goalie, and they got rid of a
if you made him play
moderate.
as much as a backup should, he's gonna show his warts.
Right, and there's plenty of them. So I went over his save percentage from in tight positions. Jack Campbell's actually like one of the worst in the NHL for a defense that's got like Swiss cheese written all over it. Like,
speaking of that, you should see Holtby's numbers this year. He is bottom 40 goalies for save percentage and goals against. Like, he's been bad.
Right. The only saving grace for a guy like Holtby is when the lights really go
That's
on.
why I don't
You're
care.
like, hey, fair enough.
The year they won the cup,
It's that sort of like,
they won the cup, Grubauer started the playoffs.
yeah,
So I don't, like I said, they just gotta play good at the right time.
right. And he's got it in him. He's got the ring to prove he's got it in him.
Yeah.
Less questions. You can buy yourself a little bit of grace. Another Leafs deal, Max Verneau with Aaron Luchak, a sixth. Who cares? Moving on. Also,
if it says future considerations,
yeah,
skip that
Flyers,
trade.
Rangers, future considerations. Basically, we have to pick out the pucks we're putting in the puck bag to send you. You got to take all the chipped ones. The Pens, Canadians, that was a garbage for
We
garbage.
gotta talk about that one. Rodley Bar was a former Cap.
What? No,
Skip it.
skip it. The Penguin now, isn't he the enemy? That being said, let's get to Andre Case for David Backus, Axel Anderson. That's a villain name, hey? And a first rounder.
That right there is the cost of getting rid of a bad contract.
Yeah,
A first rounder.
that first rounder's
Right there.
probably a third, maybe a second.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact you had to chew on Backus's shit contractor or part of it, right? Had to take a bite out of it. So, Case is a very good player, though. I actually think
he can play. He's not a.
yeah, he deepens their top nine. He'll chip in. He plays the defensive side of the puck well.
I actually thought the Bruins won that trade. And
Oh, hands
get
down.
it back. I know it cost them a first round, but
But like I said, if you're halfway in, be all the way in.
Yeah.
And that's where the
what good is
Bruins
a first
are.
rounder to Bruins right now, right?
Yeah, the Bruins are in win now mode.
Yeah.
So, Giver. The Jets getting Cody Eakin for a fourth. The
Going
Knights
home
needed
from
to
Winnipeg.
the Knights needed to get rid of a guy to clean up some space, cap wise / positions. So yeah, I like Eakin though. He's a good high energy gritty guy. So
Good skater.
yeah, I think for a third line guy, what do you want? Like, what more do you want? And there again, there's the value. Fourth rounder, right? Some of these guys are, like we're saying, Pajot, third line center. Well, Cody Eakin's a third line winger,
Mhm.
and he's worth a fourth. Like, you have to remember at the trade deadline, it's all about right now. I don't care about UFAs. I don't care how good he's going to be in 2 years. It's right now. Cody Eakin's a third liner right now.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Nashville Leafs again. The Leafs for TSN saying, "Oh, they didn't really do much for
They
deals."
made a bunch of
They made a-
small
yeah.
deals.
They're like my dog. They go pee on every post in the backyard, just a little bit, just so everybody knows I pissed here. But it's still piss.
Mhm.
We're back to the Capitals. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Kovalchuk deal, which I really liked. I was skeptical on how good Kovalchuk was going to be for Montreal. I mean, he's still a good player. He's still a threat. He can still shoot. But
I hate to do this because I have to eat crow on this one now because I love bugging my uncle. Montreal Canadiens fans, I was bugging when they picked up Kovalchuk. Just being like, the guy's old, he's slow, and can't skate anymore.
and now he's a Capital.
Now he's a Capital, so he's good again, right?
Yeah, he's a total stud. We should trade him next year in the offseason for like a first.
I even texted my buddy when the Caps were playing the Canadiens. I'm like, Kovalchuk's playing like he's trying out.
That's what he was doing.
But there again, though,
He did the games I seen him play. He played well. Like
he's going to get favorable matchups being on, basically, I would think their third line.
Yeah.
Right?
I kind of want to. I would almost like to see him on the first two lines, and then maybe move
who do you move off?
I would say Wilson. Maybe move him.
No,
down.
Wilson creates space for your little pansy Backstrom.
Ovi creates his own space.
Oh,
they play on the
come
line together. usually.
Come on. He does, actually, but Backstrom needs some of that kind of help up there. Same with Oshie, not really a banger.
Yeah.
Wilson opens up a lot of ice.
I don't mind actually if they had.
But if Kovalchuk can chip in, score a few big goals down the stretch for a third-round pick, which is going to be a low third, almost a fourth, really, Montreal did pretty good for getting a guy off his couch,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. I'm thinking if nothing else, he might give the guys some energy in the room, like he kind of did in Montreal.
Like
right?
you do with your team, a little energy in the room. Scott's magic with a loofah. Just saying, if you need a spare.
Wow.
That's what I've been told.
I think you gave some inside information there.
You'll come out smelling like Old Spice. That's all I'll tell you, buddy.
I'm an Irish Spring Sport guy, thanks.
Oh, are you? Okay. My loofah, my rules. No, Covey, I think for getting him off the couch, so to speak, was not a bad deal. Not that he was completely on the couch for long. Little timeout tidbit. Ilya Kovalchuk is now officially counting towards the cap on his 4th NHL team.
I see that.
And it's for roughly $7 million. And now his contract, because Montreal ate half of it, right?
Yeah.
So it was $700,000. So basically they're eating $350. The Caps pay $350, but now prorated for the last 20 games, it's roughly $125,000, $140,000, something like that.
Nice.
You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
No.
But at the same time, he's counting towards the cap on 4 different teams for roughly $7 million.
Oh, at
And
the
he's-
same time?
And the
Yeah.
last team to get him doesn't even pay him $200,000. Yeah. Anyway, I hope for his sake, at the very least, he has a good run and he maybe signs a 1 or 2 year deal for a couple million somewhere. And he's still a solid enough player he can play. So
Yeah. He'll probably assist on Ovi's 800th.
he does have 6 more
That's
years.
a long way away, but
Is it going to be in the KHL?
No, 2
Anyway,
more years, 50,
2 more.
50.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. What the fuck were the Oilers doing?
you didn't like the deals?
You tell me
I
why.
think your heart a little greener there.
You know what? Like, here's the thing. It wouldn't be so bad to go in and make a deal with the Red Wings and get a Mike Green, right? And they made 2 deals actually with the Red Wings. And okay, fair enough. They're a willing trade partner. You like some of their assets, whatever. But the last GM went and signed his little heartthrob from his old stop in Lucic. Right? So these guys
That was only
do
one
they
of many
only
bad
put in
things he
one
did.
phone line to the GM's office? Like, really, just a direct
I
line?
call that
to
a Brendan Taman special.
I only bring in guys I had before, now that they're washed up. Mike Green, okay, I'm going to throw another tidbit at you. I'm going to show you guys something. Okay, we're going to go over here.
Who are you showing?
Mike Green, okay, what's that plus minus say?
Is he even in the green jacket?
Just, yeah. Well, he's only on about
FNSCU.
He's
Yeah,
only
but look
about
what team he
4th.
was on. man.
Irrelevant. He's part of the problem
Check.
there. They all are, but he's minus 32 right now on the season.
Yeah, but
Okay,
as a team,
they
they're
got-
minus 90-something.
They got Andreas Athabasca here. I can't say his last name.
He's the green jacket winner.
He's the green jacket winner. But you got a minus 32 guy. And what did you do for your next deal?
Minus 45.
Minus 45. So collectively, between 2 players, they're minus 77.
Okay, decent
You're a
players
playoff team.
can play on bad
Oh.
teams.
Like, this kid is a good hockey player still.
He can skate. That's
He only skates one way, apparently.
Well, yeah.
You don't need that. You got the leading scorer and McJesus. You don't need a guy who can only skate one way, that way. You kind of need the rest. I think maybe
they thought as he can keep up with McDavid.
well, he's a big body guy, and I think actually if he gets a little bit on the he has some penalty minutes. Like, he'll play a little bit physical of a brand of hockey. Hopefully, Tippett's system and everything else, being in a little more professional environment for hockey is going to help him. But Mike Green is what, $6 million
I think there was a retention there though too, wasn't there?
for 90% of the salary? Mike
I
Green
think
is
50
not.
what they gave.
He's a good skating defenseman. He has offensive upside,
Mhm.
but so does Clefbaum, right?
Yeah.
So does Larson. They got some
They
decent
don't
guys.
have a power play quarterback though,
Well, maybe that's all Green's going to be.
which is fine.
Fair enough. For a 4th and Brodziak, that's probably not bad in that sense.
Mhm. They didn't give up anything for him. Like,
But I
mean,
just,
fourth
you know me,
and
like we
Brodziak.
talked about it before the NHL draft. What the hell is the kid's name? It escapes me. But he's like minus 50, right? And I'm like, if the Flyers pick him, I'm
Peyton
gonna-
Krebs.
yeah. And I'm just like, you can't. How are you minus 50?
And who picked him?
Not the Flyers.
Where did he
The
go?
Vegas Knights.
Is he still playing?
Well, he's a
He's
junior
not there
player,
yet.
so
Oh, okay.
but he was on a horrible team. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're on a bad team, but some of that is you not doing your job still.
Yeah.
Like, you're not absolved
Maybe he's
from
gonna
all
learn
of
how to
them.
do his job.
Anyway,
You suck. Yeah, that guy's.
Amen, Maddie. Amen. So to me, you look at the point total, but you got to look at the plus minus, right? With analytics and everything else nowadays, that's the easiest analytic to throw at a guy. Can he play in his own end? A lot of these guys are junior sensations who score 30, 40, 50 goals in their last year junior. So,
They don't
yeah.
like to play in their own end. They're always in the offensive end.
Well, yeah, sure, ideally. But, I mean, yeah, Mike Green, I didn't like the deal. It was a cheap enough deal, but I just don't understand why he was the guy they went after for a fourth.
To me, like
Wasn't
Like
Marco
a team
Scandella?
like the
Let's
Oilers,
go back to
I think
Scandella.
like Brendan Dillon could have went to the Oilers, right? Like
Yeah, and helped him out. And but Marco Scandella, second and a fourth. I would have got Scandella for a fourth, and, you got Brodziak in there, which is fine. But, yeah, anyway. Senators trading to the Avalanche, a fourth rounder for Vladislav Namas. I can't say Russian names. You're the Russian fan.
Namestnikov,
Namestnikov. There you go. Blue, 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 blue.
that's a good deal.
That is a good deal.
Fourth rounders are
But value, again, it's much the same as a Kovalchuk, right? Can play third line. He's going to chip in. Cheap enough contract. Potentially, I think he might have years. No, he doesn't have more years. But still, a fourth for a rental.
when you think of a fourth round pick, think of it as like a 1 in 3 chance of getting an NHLer.
And
right?
not a top
No,
line.
not
Like,
just an NHL
third
that
liner.
plays any sort of games.
Yeah. The Islanders, Senators, again, first, a second, and a conditional third. If the Islanders win the Stanley Cup. So it's a first and a second, essentially, for Pajot, which is steep. And the Oilers balked at the idea of giving up a first to get him because they were rumored to be in it all along, and they didn't want to give up their first. The trick there was that was overpayment, and as far as I'm concerned, for a third-line center, he's a third-line center on a good team. That's overpayment unless you get him to a new deal.
Yep.
But is
And
he
they
worth $5 million? That's his new deal.
Yeah, now he is.
Is a third-line center worth $5 million?
The cap's going up all the time. I think it's probably $5 million.
Okay.
It's on
Who's
the
the
high end. It's on the high end of third line centers.
Who's the Caps' third-line center?
Lars Eller.
Is he better than Pajot?
I think so.
Does he make more money than
We need a
Pajot?
Homer
doesn't.
horn.
He doesn't. No.
Homer horn.
Okay. Another
He's
deal.
under 4.5 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Maddie. Love it. Vincent Trocheck, I thought was a savvy deal. Carolina, for a team that's not in the playoffs, they went balls deep on getting in.
And for a team that really doesn't have their best defenseman, right?
Right. Dougie Hamilton going down. They got two guys basically to replace him in deals today. They always have a third goalie, and if they're willing to part with $500 and whatever's in everybody's trousers, right? But Trocheck is a legit centerman. For a decent deal, they gave up nothing. Like,
What do they say if you get the best player, you won the trade? Well,
essentially,
and he's the best player out of those.
right?
By
So
far.
Florida, I don't know. Florida's just
Well, yeah, you can give doesn't matter. You can give a truckload of shitty players.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
right.
matter.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
look, we
Hall
got
of Famer.
500 players.
Well, and let's go back to
we
All
got
of
Wayne
them are
Gretzky.
okay, but they're not like they're just
they're not changing your fortunes in
No.
the playoffs.
No.
Here's another good deal. Flyers for a fifth, they get Nate Thompson from the Habs. Now, before you chuckle, you bastard, Nate Thompson here's the thing with my Flyers, okay? Representing right now, right here, okay? They have a top six that's as good as damn near anybody out there.
thank you.
Maddie, fucking wrecking me, buddy. Thought we were friends. Nate Thompson, they need to rebuild their bottom six, is more my point.
Mhm.
And Thompson is
He's
a
a fourth liner.
fair enough, but
on
you
the
need
Canadiens.
a third and a fourth line in today's NHL to really get you past more than the first round. Like, if you're going to make a run, and the Flyers are right in there with the Pens
So
and
what is your expectation of
Washington.
fourth line?
that he can bang. Not
I
one of the
hope
other
you're not
guys.
Are you expecting anything more than 10 points on the season?
No, that's it. be a plus minus guy who's on the positive side of plus minus.
Oh, so not minus 45.
Not minus 45. Okay.
I'm
So
learning
glad
things
the
tonight.
Flyers didn't pick up
But be
FNSU.
right.
I always thought you wanted the guys with the highest plus minus.
Oh,
The highest negative number.
pluses, Matty, on the right side of zero. Bigger is better. Okay. But Thompson, they need to rebuild their bottom six. They need to have better defensive presence in their bottom six. Some of the guys they have are a liability when they're on the ice. So you got to be able to throw them out there for their, depends what line, there's 7 to 12 minutes a game and not get matched up on an Ovechkin and be completely a fish out of water. Like, you've got to be able to at least hold your own against a first, probably a second or third line most times, right?
No,
So,
fair enough.
their bottom end, their bottom six, basically, for lack of a better word, fucking blows. Like,
That's 2 words.
that's 2 words. Me no smart, me Flyer fan. Okay, so for a
Brady
fifth,
is our
that's,
mascot.
for a fifth, it is he's the best mascot in the NHL. I will
Hey,
beg your pardon.
The best at scaring children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the Maple Leafs mascot? A big leaf?
No, I think it's
Can't
just
you mulch
I
that
think
into
it's just
toilet
some
paper?
dude with an L on his forehead.
Yeah, leaf.
How many illegitimate
Is his name
children
Drake?
do you think Gritty has?
Drake's not a Leafs
I
fan,
don't know,
is he?
but they'd be easily identifiable. Okay, if there was like a whole subdivision of gingers in Philadelphia, Gritty was there. The new mailman. Anyway, moving on. Sharks' third-round pick for Patty Marleau. Patty Marleau, hopefully at 40, can finally win a cup.
That'd be nice.
I still think
Pride
that
of Anaroid, Saskatchewan.
yeah, and he should still be a Leaf, as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah.
he's exactly the kind of player they need. They need a veteran guy who knows how to show up to work,
Yeah.
who knows how
They
to
also
play the
need a
200
coach
foot
that
game.
can hold
Oh,
somebody
So
accountable.
Sid,
All right, they
so
fired
Sid and
him.
Malkin couldn't show them that. Hey? Like, how to,
Can't show the Leaf guys that.
oh, sorry.
I'm saying
I thought,
Patty
okay,
Marleau,
yeah, sorry,
right?
sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you-
Patty Marleau's a great ad because I
Yeah.
think Marleau, if he had to play first line minutes, could do it. Right, for a playoff run, he's talented enough to do it. He'll play third line minutes and be a shutdown guy. Patty
Look
Marleau
at this, just
is-
stroking him off.
is super versatile.
Oh,
he's a
Patty
Sasky.
Marleau.
He's a Sasky guy. Hey, if he could fight, he'd be the perfect hockey player. But we don't need him to.
Oh, look at Jerome McGinley.
Jerome McGinley, yeah, number 12. Actually, this jersey
Can
here
you
is number
con
12.
the homer horn on
We thought-
yourself?
Yeah, yeah. Where did the Iginla thing come from?
That's just out of nowhere.
There you go. There you go. Oh, and we're gonna talk Leafs
Oh.
again.
I did mention, so Marlowe or Kovalchuk, who do you take?
Kovalchuk.
Patty Marleau.
Which team? Which team?
I-
I think they
well, I
ran
just
to the
think-
right
I mean,
team.
Yeah,
both-
yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah.
They did, but my only thing with Patty Marleau, I know he's a little older than Kovalchuk, so it's easier to take Kovalchuk because he is younger and it potentially doesn't
And-
fall off a
Is
cliff.
he actually, though?
They're
Didn't we hear
both
that
old in hockey-
he's
by hockey
older than
standards.
reported?
Well, he's Russian. You can't trust the birth certificate. It's
That's
like
true.
Obama's. He has to produce it, then you believe it. Patty Marleau, though, can play a 200-foot game. And he can skate. He's always been able to skate. So in terms of playing an all-around playoff-style game, he might be more effective off puck. Kovalchuk will be more effective on puck. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. Maple Leafs, Kalle Rosen back to the Leafs for Michael Hutchinson. And I don't care.
Didn't he used to sing for In Excess?
Who's that?
Michael Hutchinson?
Michael Hutchinson? Yeah, sure. Didn't that guy... Didn't he die?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as far as Leaf fans are concerned, Hutchinson is dead to them. They're all after the $500 Zamboni guy now.
You guys are getting grim.
They're getting out the cap space and the roster space so they can get a... See, there's what I'm talking. Derek Grant, that name, pardon my interruption, I played hockey with a guy back home, Dysart Sask. He passed away suddenly. He was the same age as me, Derek Grant. I played defense with him when I was a kid. He is an absolute stud of a human being. I'm sad to this day when it makes you feel old when you're only 42 and people are dying your age, especially of complications and things that are unexpected. But I have a guy that I know. I'm actually thinking about getting that name on the back of a Flyers jersey. This one, maybe, to be exact, because he was a guy that I really respected. He was a really good guy, really gritty hockey player, really good, talented hockey player. And yeah, I played with him a long time. So the name just for me, it's like, oh my God, that's so awesome. So anyway, Derek Grant, good ad. Bottom six forward though, he can do it all. He's just basically coming in for a prospect and another 4th round pick. They gave up a 5th for Thompson, give away a 4th and a 5th to basically rebuild part of your bottom 6 is a really good deal. So you probably partied in Dysart, didn't you? Earl Grey guy? Did you get that far?
No, I didn't go.
The girls were too hot.
I didn't go
You couldn't make it?
Q-Bar there, buddy.
Oh, actually, the girls in Saudi were hot, and the sheep in Q-Bar were nervous. Okay? If you went that far, things got a little out of hand. You don't know that about Q-Bar?
I've
I'm
never
pretty
been.
sure
I've
I've
never
played the
been.
Dysart
No?
bar a couple times.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good place.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got all your teeth, that's the cover charge.
Shot a video there actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
What kind of video?
Sheep.
Is it on Pornhub?
Music video. No, it's on YouTube.
Is it? Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Just show it on the show.
We should. We should. Yeah. I was a Dysart Blue. Sometimes regrettably, sometimes proudly. I just wondered if you made it that far down the old 22 highway. If you got to the valley, the old Loon Creek, you're too far.
That's about it, right?
Yeah.
Things got a little weird
Yeah.
after that.
Did it? You're just scared to cross the river. Legends are born on the other side of the river. Yeah, Derek Grant. Great. I thought it was a good ad for not an expensive price. Anaheim selling. Philly needs to rebuild the bottom 6. Good deal. Moving on. Wayne Simmons for a 5th round pick. And they're keeping 50% of Simmons' 50% or $5 million salary.
It's kind of a weird one, eh? Why did they just want to get rid of it? Like, that's basically giving him away and retaining salary.
Yeah.
I guess they're rebuilding, but like
Wayne Simmons as an ex-Flyer, he sucks now. He's not a good hockey player.
Oh no,
He was never
Burke would have
foot.
Burke today said he would have him on any one of his teams.
Why? Because he's got truculence. Truculence. Yeah. Just because you know he's a lawyer by trade. I shouldn't mock him, but I mean.
And kind of weird for the Sabres to pick him up. Like,
yeah, he doesn't help them.
No.
But it's a way to get him off the books for New Jersey. So anyway, Nick Ritchie for Danton Heinen. Nick Ritchie's a good player. I think he's helping the Bruins. I think he's probably one of the best ads of any team in here. Nick Ritchie.
I think
would you add him?
No, I think they say he's not NHL shaped. Like, he doesn't commit himself to being in shape.
Phil Kessel.
I was just gonna say cheeseburger
Yeah,
boy.
like, no, that's what I've heard anyway about him. That he's good, like, just natural talented, kind of like Big Buff kind of is, but doesn't
Patty
put in the
Maroon.
work.
Maroon was the same deal,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, he could still play, but he could be better. But
well, he doesn't have much pressure to do much there other than be a third
yeah,
liner, really.
no,
But I mean, a round mound of anything might be okay. So I don't know. They didn't give up much to get him either. So
yeah.
I think he's a good ad, personally. Matthew Pekka for Luke. Yeah, moving on. Here's the other deal. Sam Gagner needed to be gone. Okay, you got rid of him, and your next 2 second-round picks if you're Edmonton. And you got a guy who's minus 45. And this
He's
He's
like to
fast,
win.
though. He's fast.
great. You'd probably go to a speed skating track in Calgary and find a guy who's fast. Can he handle a hockey stick? Yeah, minus 45. I don't know. If they can re-up him,
You didn't think Covey was gonna work out in Montreal, so
well, it
no
reeked of
credibility.
desperation. Well, it reeked of, he's Russian.
They know what to score.
No comment, eh? Me hacking on Russians as you drink a halfway white Russian, a white Russian with a tan. I don't know. If he resigns there and he fits in and he can somehow get himself to being a 0 plus minus kind of player, not that he'll overcome the 45, but if for the Oilers play that kind of hockey and re-ups, I think he's probably in the 4 to 5 million range, which is a pretty good contract for a kid who's I think he's 24. Let's look.
The Oilers need some
25.
better wingers.
True. And
Like, they
James,
just don't-
to me, this deal, the reason I think they make that deal, forgive me for saying this, but James Neal hasn't worked out. He can't play top 6 minutes. They had to go get a guy who could play
Probably
top
worked
6
out a
minutes.
little better than
Who have-
Lucic went.
Yes.
Right. But I mean, he's a big body guy who can skate. Neil's not fleet of foot. Lucic is definitely locked. I think Lucic actually has a beeper installed for any time he skates backwards. He's so fucking slow. So they kind of needed to get not just the youth, but the speed. And hopefully the price they paid Gagne, and not really a fan, and 2 seconds isn't too bad if they can re-up this guy for 5-6 years for a decent cap hit that's good value. He can play in your top 6 for the next 5 to 6 years because he's 25. So if they can re-sign him, re-up him. So that's sort of the thing. They should have pajoed the whole thing and got him on a pen to paper.
Yeah, right.
Oilers landing Tyler Ennis. I can't say his name without thinking penis.
Jeez, I was going to say anus, but
Okay, well, front, back, whatever. If you're
I guess
halfway
we
in,
know what
you're
you're
all the way
thinking
in.
So if I
about.
say Jacob Voracek, same thing for you?
Voracek?
Yeah, you can't think of anything but penis.
That's all he thinks about.
Holy cow. I need more drinks. Okay, anyway, that was...
Or more penis.
Yes. You guys ever
I was
feel...
just making sure my microphone was
We
working.
have whole campaigns at where I work about bullying. This isn't even online. I mean, we're providing it online, but you're right physically here.
Oh, did you think this was a safe workplace?
No, it's not.
I got news for you, buddy.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel victimized. I should play my victim card. I threw my victim card out.
Well, now that you're not blocking a railway, you have some.
There's no such thing as a victim card. You can get your shit together. Anyway, we're in way sidetracked here. Squirrel. Derek Forbort for 4th. Yeah. Depth add by the Flames. Nothing major. The Sabres though, the Sheary and the Dominic Cahoon. That was a pretty savvy deal. The Penguins added $5 million in cap hit on that deal. And I think Cahoon was just a couple. But he's the actual offensive guy. Sheary going back to the Penguins was pretty savvy because they know he fits. Now you got Connor Sheary, Rodriguez, and Marlowe who can all play third line minutes and be effective hockey players. That looks to me like a lot of savvy moves by the Penguins, regrettably being a Caps fan and a Flyers fan, that they look legit and deep and ready with 2 goalies, lots of solid D.
I actually think Cahoon's the best player there, though.
He is offensively for sure, but they also know that Sheary fits with Malkin Crosby.
Yeah, that's true.
He gets better when he plays with those guys, and he can play with those guys. So if Marlowe can do the same, wow, that's great ads, and not a crazy amount of
I mean, Cahoon's better than those two, but how much better? Not really.
not a ton. No, not a ton. So Dallas, Florida, skip. Vatanen for the Canes, power play guy. They gave up a 4th, and this Kukanen or whatever, Kuakanen, man, I couldn't live in Europe.
And you
do it.
couldn't be an announcer.
Holy Jesus.
Once I have,
What is that?
once I've got it, I've
That's a
got it.
Kukanen.
Kukanen. Again with the penis jokes. Sammy Vatanen, good ad, and Dougie Hamilton they needed reinforcements, and not that you could have replaced him with one guy, but they did go get 2. So the Robin Leonard deal. Let's move to that.
Speaking of that, Vatanen, I remember the World Juniors when they were in Regina.
Yeah.
He was far and away Finland's best player. He was ranked in junior. He played probably 40 minutes a game and was
Really?
dominant. But,
Well, they say he's a very good offensive upside, good skater.
Yeah.
Hopefully, can play some pretty good plus minutes for him. This Malcolm Subban 2nd round pick. I don't know about Slava Demon, but Leonard is really good for the Knights, especially with the salary retention by Toronto in the 3-way deal that went down. Leonard can come in and play and win you games, playoffs. Otherwise, I thought it was a hell of a move for the Knights. Leonard fancies himself a first, not like a number 1 goalie, and I think he'll get his chance because he's a UFA. But for right now, he's got to be a little pissed but a little happy because he's going to be in the
Probably one of
playoffs.
the best, now he's one of the best backups in the NHL.
Right. But you want to be a starter.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, isn't that what you want under your backup sometimes, though?
Yeah, little chug.
Yeah.
He wants to take the job, but
Yeah.
obviously he's not.
Realistically, Leonard should have never been let go from the island.
Mhm.
he did what he needed to, but he came out and had mental health issues, which he overcame. But an old school Lamoriello guy is probably going to be like, dude's crazy, don't want him, he's on the pills or whatever. And he got rid of him. He's got his stuff together. He had a rough spot. Give him a second chance. He's played well ever since he came back to the island and sorted out his mental health side of his life. Like, why is it a bad thing? Right? The whole stigma maybe followed him a little bit there with Lamoriello, but not that I know that for sure. But, you've met the old school guys. Motherfucker's crazy. Get him out of here, man. Yeah, but it was a good hockey deal, I thought, for the Knights. And the Canes getting Brady Shea for a first.
The KJ sounds like an H.
The silent J. That's two good defensemen.
Yeah,
I actually think if they had Dougie Hamilton, they don't make those deals. But I actually think the collective sum of those two parts is better than Dougie Hamilton, who was on a Norris Trophy type campaign.
Yeah.
So if they can retain and this defenseman, Brady, he's got multiple years left on his deal. So if you get a 3-4 year guy who can play in your top four for a really good value cap hit,
for a first rounder,
that's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was a good deal. But they got to make the playoffs now, the bunch of jerks. Hey? So
it's going to be a dogfight there.
It is, but I kind of like Carolina, and there should be maybe some galvanization at that room when you put a $500 goalie in and pull it off.
Goaltending is the only question there.
So which of the Metro teams is out? Columbus?
Oh, well, here, let's look. You want to see Metro teams?
Well, just playoffs.
One of them's out. Okay, I personally think that the three that are there, Washington, Pittsburgh, Philly, are in.
Yeah.
Right? Columbus is coming on strong. Carolina is actually in 8th right now. But Columbus they got a real hot streak going. I don't know if they cool off. Maybe they come back down to earth. But if they stay hot, Carolina's fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
I think.
But Carolina adds those parts. They just got a whole schwack better. So in my mind, Carolina adding those parts, they're better than Toronto. They're better than Philadelphia per se.
Overall league standings, the 12th place team might miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
because that's Columbus right now.
Well, we'll get into the CFL playoff format where that wouldn't matter. They would make it in. But yeah. Anyway, Devils traded goalie to the Canucks. Who gives a shit? Barclay Goodrow for a first. They got a Barkley and a third. That's a shit deal. Barclay Goodrow is not worth a first, even with a third-round kicker. He's a mediocre third-line player, and all the other third-line players, Marleau, Kovalchuk, they're going for thirds. Why is this guy worth a first? And the difference in trade value between a first and a third is pretty significant.
Sure is.
So, to me, the Lightning, though, they have to. If they win the Cup, which they're in the running for, they'd be in that Final Four type conversation. It doesn't matter. That first is almost the second.
Yeah, basically.
Once you're halfway in, boys, you may as well be all the way in. You're already in trouble. Preds, Ducks, don't care. Daniel Sprong for Christian Juice. Is that how you say it?
I don't even care about that one.
You said the silent J, yeah. Nick Cousins for a fourth, not a big deal. My Flyers, Nathan Noel for TJ Brennan. Garbage in, garbage out. The Flames, Maddie, we got to some Flames action. Okay, you can undo your pants since you're not on camera. Eric Gustafsson for a third. I thought it was not bad considering Brody's walking, but Gustafsson's also going to be on UFA, so they can maybe negotiate with both of them and see who they can get or what the value is. Not a bad deal. Gustafsson's a serviceable, decent, actually probably the best defenseman for the Blackhawks right now in terms of value. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Islanders, Schmalz, Laredo, Maple Leafs. How are the Maple Leafs on every other deal in here?
And why
they
forwards?
said, yeah, it was all shit. All garbage. Who cares? Maple Leafs. You are the worst Leafs ever. Remember that commercial with the goalies?
No.
When they were riding a lawnmower? You are the worst Leafs ever. The French goalie. You are Maple Leafs. Matt Sundin. You don't remember that?
Was it a night commercial?
That's
You gotta
really
remember that.
ringing a bell.
Yeah, it's super old. You are the worst Leafs ever. Yeah.
Was it a night commercial?
I think it might have been. I don't know. I was probably drunk when I watched it. It is like the late night on Hockey Night in Canada deal. Yeah, anyway, Oilers, Ducks, another non-deal. Brandon Davidson from the Sharks to the Flames for future considerations. Davidson is actually an okay defenseman, but future considerations, like you said earlier, Scott, that means you got nothing. You got the chipped pucks, not even the good pucks. So that's pretty much Trade Center. That was a large volume of work.
That was a large volume of info.
Yeah, lots happened, but we're cramming it in.
So-
we don't do
so-
all-day Sports Center here. So
Winners, deadline day.
I think the Carolina.
Carolina?
I really
did it
do.
well.
I really do. Another team I actually thought did pretty well.
Oilers?
Not- The Oilers did okay. If those guys if they can re-sign and they don't re-sign Green, I think it could be okay for them.
And the Penguins.
Penguins did well too.
I didn't think there was any team that really blew it out of the
Shit the
water,
bed.
and now they're the favorites.
Well, and there were
Oh,
some
no.
big names
Yeah.
that were rumored out there, but
I was thinking Kreider was going to go, but
he re-signed. Yeah,
yeah,
but
he
you
would
have
have been
to
a good ad for any team.
I hate to say this in our division, Scotty, but I think the Penguins won it. You have to remember they not only made a couple savvy moves in Marlowe and Sheary, right? They also got Zucker pre-deadline.
Yeah,
So they did
added a
pretty
lot.
damn good.
Yeah.
So to me, that would be who made out the worst? Who got not just
Aside
the worst
from the Leafs,
not just the worst trades, but also potentially someone you expected something out of who didn't deliver.
Well, the Leafs.
The Leafs?
They
But you
should have
have
done
no money.
something. No, I know.
the Flames
That's
really
the
didn't do
problem.
much.
The Flames could have done more.
Yeah, I mean, picked up basically one D-man.
Do you think Trevelling was kind of saying
think he was
I've got a young core. I think you need to step the fuck up. I believe in you.
I think
Yeah,
he was
he
trying to
could've-
make
yeah,
deals and
could've,
didn't
but-
get them.
Yeah,
The one team I would say that I'm most disappointed in.
The Flyers?
No, never, never. It's like hating your mother. It's hard to do. You can't do it. No, actually, I'm going to break it into two teams. I thought Dallas should have done a little bit for
yeah,
cup
they
contender,
really didn't do anything.
and they didn't do anything. They sat on their thumbs. They didn't even shuffle minor leaguers around, which could be an indication that they really believe in their team now, and they don't want to mess with the chemistry because they finally got it right from their shitty start. But Colorado,
Yeah.
the Avs really didn't do anything, and they were
Mastercraft,
rumored
that
to
was
be out there for a ton of different dudes. Goaltending, maybe a D-man, some top 6, top 9 forward guys. Nothing came. So,
You know what I always find interesting about deadline day is so they throw out a name like Tyson Berry and try to make it sound like he's available or like he could get traded. Now, in what world would that have made any sense for the Leafs to get rid of Tyson Berry?
only in Toronto.
They had to talk about something.
I know
Yeah,
it's
in
like they make
Like
it
they
up.
had to put a Leaf on that
Yeah,
list
I
of...
just don't believe that there was ever any thought of actually trading him, right?
Yeah. I think he just needs to find a way to fit in there a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not a bad player.
No,
He doesn't have a
he's at
bad
Leafs.
contract.
It's like they say when you're a team that's on the making playoffs and you don't trade away a UFA, it's like renting him. It's like a rental. player.
Rental
So,
yourself, yeah. Well, and what are the odds the Leafs actually make the playoffs? I don't think they make it.
Well, they only have to finish ahead of Florida. That's all, right?
Well, Florida sold a few parts off, so
Yeah.
I think
They-
Florida's
they-
almost
that's-
kind of
That's
sad
kind of the
they're
thing
done.
in the week.
They're out
division,
in the first round, though.
But who do the Leafs beat?
Oh yeah. Well, they're
Who who do the
Yeah,
Leafs
they're
beat?
playing-
they're playing
Nobody.
Boston or Tampa first round.
Yeah.
And
You know what? I think if they play Boston first round, I just think the odds are the Leafs are going to beat Boston if they play in the first round.
No.
I just
Even
think
if they're up 3 games to 1, they're
How
still
tight
going
is
to
your
lose.
eventually you knock on the door, you're going to beat a team eventually. Just
you're saying basically that the sun shines on a dog's ass twice a day.
Morgan Riley will be back for playoffs. He was skating today. I'm telling you,
Closet Leafs fan.
My lock in the playoffs, if the Leafs play Boston, the Leafs will beat Boston.
Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that bet.
I'll bet you lunch.
Done.
Yeah,
Done.
I'll take that bet for sure.
Going to fucking Red Lobster, baby.
CFL.
Anyway, CFL, let's move on. We're going to move this along a little bit. One guy I really liked, and the BC Lions were talking about getting Darrell Walker. We couldn't figure out how the hell they're going to fit him in for the price he's probably looking for. Not the 200, but even 150. I like Dominic Rhymes. Couldn't figure out why Ottawa didn't sign him. He signed for $95,000. He's a stretch guy.
That's
And
a good
I
deal.
think for $95,000, he should have been a rider.
Yeah.
Why not? Him and Shaq and Moore. Can you imagine us stretching the field?
Wow, that's a good deal.
I thought that was a hell of a
That is
deal.
a good deal.
And I can't figure out why he was a free agent at all. Like, I mean,
I
even
don't
if he
know,
doesn't catch a lot of balls, he still
Ottawa
blows
does
the
some
lid
weird
off.
stuff. Like last year was an absolute disaster for
Well,
them.
I mean,
Their
essentially-
offseason was terrible.
La Police, who did he have as a stretch guy last year? He really didn't have one.
No,
They didn't have a true
Straddler.
burner.
Yeah, no, they truly had it.
So maybe they just
Terrible offseason.
didn't really need him. But I don't know how a guy who's a true burner is a problem that you have to let him go for $100,000.
yeah, no.
Good on Rhymes. I think he's going to have some success there. If it was a 1 year, it is a 1 year deal. He could cash in even bigger next year. Because if they can keep Riley like walking upright with the walker, whatever it takes, a cane, if he can throw it down the field, they've got Burnham, Rhymes. That'll be a good deal.
Rhymes had 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah,
I can't believe
with all
he
the
didn't-
crap they went
I
through.
can't believe he didn't command more than that. Like that's a steal.
Well, after
Maybe he
we
wants to play with Red.
essentially 2 weeks into free agency, one with the tampering period, one with the actual free agency, the price does come down. So if Dominic Rhymes at 1,000 yards, which is pretty much the same yardage and touchdowns as Darrell Walker, got at 100,000, what's Darrell Walker worth? Maybe a hair more by reputation
Yeah,
or skill set,
110,
but or even 140.
not 200.
200
Sure
is
not
a
what
long
he was
far.
hoping for.
So Darrell Walker, I don't know, man.
What do you think? Where's he going?
The Bombers were in on him. I heard
I think the Riders were in on it.
the Riders were in on him.
Do you want
AC was in on him, but I mean, with Rhymes, do you want him now?
Oh, I want Walker. Yeah.
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 With
Sure.
Rhymes, with Burnham? Like, do you
Yeah.
keep adding?
If you can.
If you
Yeah.
can. So, I don't know. Darrell Walker, the longer he waits, the more I worry he's not going to either get his money or he's going to be in a shit situation where he's not going to get the yardage and be able to cash in next year. Roosevelt cashed in with the Owls. I don't know what he got.
Do you think you cashed in?
I heard it was a little over 100. It wasn't a whole pile. That being said, though, the Owls could use a guy. They lost Posey. They lost some players, right? The Owls needed some kind of
For sure.
veteran guy who can get open. Not that I think Roosevelt could really get open. I never really thought he was a true technician. He made a lot of diving, jumping catches where he left himself vulnerable and got dinged up.
Yep.
I think that was basically because he couldn't either
Create space.
separate and create the space, or he just wasn't a savvy enough route runner to set up and get the space. I think he was a good athlete when he first came here. And as that slips with the route running deficiencies. Anyway, I don't want to slag the guy too much, but I mean,
No, he was a good player for the
Right.
first few years.
right.
and
Yeah.
And we moved on. We got
Man,
other guys.
when
So
he took that hit, the one hit he took there on about 35-yard line. I've never seen a guy get hit that hard before.
did he get up?
Oh, he got up. He was
He's-
a tough receiver.
He's a champ
he
that
could
way.
take a hit.
The rumor is though that the Riders never offered him a deal at all.
That's probably
Like nothing.
fact.
I would assume that's correct.
So to me, I think the Riders were fully prepared. They brought in actually a couple of other guys here. Where's his name? Robert Ayers out of the NFL. They have some other guys that they signed out of the States.
See, back
I
goalie
really
too.
think that they just thought we're going to get some young Americans, bring them in, some guys with a little bit of pedigree from the NFL, trying out that kind of thing. Why are we going with a Roosevelt? Why are we going with an Arsenault? Like, they got to keep turning the page, keeping it fresh.
Oh, you have
And they have that
have
top four that are good, that they don't have to worry about, and some young guys who are ready to play, and somebody's going to
take
step
a
up.
position, right?
Right. So, for
And it'll save some money if you can find that.
for the Pictons, for the McKinnises, for the Lineuses, realistically, there's that fifth and the sixth receiver spot available. One maybe goes to an American that comes up and wins a job. they're all kind of fighting for a roster spot, like, on game day kind of thing. So, I mean, there's enough guys there. You don't need to cloud the water with a Roosevelt or an Arsenault. So,
No.
I really thought maybe Roosevelt would be back, but
No, moving on.
That being said, is there anybody maybe we could bring in that you guys are looking at? I had a little question. I was kind of curious about if Micah Tights is ready to back up Judge, because Hurl's still out there. Nobody I can tell is looking at Hurl. He's a good special teamer and a backup guy, but I think Hurl maybe not.
I think
He's going to be a special teamer somewhere, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think he's done. But backing up Canadian starters is kind of what it's all about right now in terms of signings from here till training camp. Also for us, a rotational DN. Would you bring in a Sean Lemon or an Odell Willis to rotate and just deepen it? Or would you gamble in a Grey Cup kind of contending year, hosting everything else on a young guy showing his face?
It would depend on how much it costs.
It all depends what they have in the pipe and if they think the guy is good enough, right? Like,
the thing
I
is,
think you bring someone in a Grey Cup year just to be sure, and if the guy takes a position, then he takes it, right?
yeah, so you would bring in a Lemon or a Willis
Yeah, I
or
think so,
a veteran at camp, and if they win it, they win it.
Yeah, like you could.
Fair
Doesn't
enough.
go against the cap until
Um,
season starts.
That being said, we're going to talk new playoff format in the CFL. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but I don't like it. And for once, like, I don't know, Henry Burris came out and said he doesn't like it. I'm like, holy shit, I agree with Henry Burris. What the hell's going on? Is my bra too tight? You guys saw that pic, eh? That's famous. That'll never go away. I can't take anything he said. I've had too many ride. Maybe I'm talking about booby straps on quarterbacks. Anyway, there's no East-West, really, essentially. The East and West winner would get a bye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the next 4 teams overall, which with the crossover was kind of how it was anyway.
Right.
But the top over seed, the thing is, after the semifinal games go on, the top team, the top seed, would get to pick who they want to play.
That's the part that's weird.
That is just
it's like
I'm all for a lot of the
reality
things
TV.
yeah.
Yeah, because they can make a show of it.
It's gimmicky as hell, right? Like,
Well, here's the thing, okay? To me, maybe you sell some newspapers. Why do I say that? Nobody buys a fucking newspaper, right? A bathroom reader. That's a cell phone for all you kids out there. No, like, realistically, how insulting is it if you're say you're the Riders and you now have to sit there at a microphone and say, I want to play the Edmonton Eskimos next because I think they suck and my odds are better. That's essentially what you're saying.
Doing something like this before either. Like, there's other leagues that have thought of this too, right? Like, and you're right. It's
a little too gimmicky.
Yeah,
but
I don't like it
But
either.
it also borders on insulting. Like, not borders on. It is insulting if you get picked.
And then what if you pick a team and then they beat you too?
Yeah, that's even worse. Why did you pick the other team? Especially if they got their asses kicked.
You want bulletin board material? That's all you need. They think we suck. They want to play us.
But in the end, the whole bulletin board material, like, you're a pro athlete, you better want to win regardless of the team. But
True,
it does seem to.
But if you're someone like BC, say they win first place, not going to happen. But BC wins first place next year, and their options are: I'm going to play Calgary or Edmonton is my choice, or I can pick Montreal. Why do I want to fly to Montreal? They may just make it on a sheer business decision to not play Montreal, or that kind of thing, or not have teams come from as far. Maybe they want them to come from as far. There's more to the decision than just the quality of the team, but in the end, it's still going to come down to feeling like the quality of the team, right? Like,
so is this bro? Was you bringing this up?
Yeah, this is kind of the proposal. They're even talking maybe doing it this year.
Oh boy,
I think picking your team, like, last year the semis would have been Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Montreal.
Simple solution. Top 2 teams get a bye, and then 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
and then the lowest seed plays the highest seed.
Exactly. Just like
Done.
that. Yep.
Like,
Done.
why are they
That's all you
trying
have
to
to do.
reinvent the wheel?
Then that's fair. That's fair. That's the fairest way to do it.
And it's worked.
Yeah.
It's worked. What did you play all season for? So you could pick who you want to play? The easiest pick is the shittiest team left.
Yeah. So
That's
just
who I'd
make
want
it
to
that
play.
way.
So just make it that way. Like, why do you have to add insult to injury is beyond me. But what? Yeah, I hope they don't do it because, yeah, all you got to do is pick, like you said, you pick a team and then, or sorry, Scott said, if you pick a team and they shit kick you, you look like an idiot. Now, who made the decision? The GM? The president of the team? The head coach?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Did they do an online
The
poll?
Zamboni driver?
The Zamboni driver? Yeah.
He was busy
He was busy
beating the Leafs.
picking up tees. Anyway, didn't like it. Garbage. The other one was the draft rankings. Lots of D-lines in the top 20. We'll maybe get into that some other time. But the Riders pick 7th, and they have no second or third round picks and 2 in the 4th.
Oh,
So
it's gonna be
we're
boring. I
talking-
thought we'd maybe have draft day that day.
Well, we were talking about like the Riders getting an O-lineman with no second or third round
That's
pick. You
gonna be
almost
tough.
have to take them at the 7 slot
Yeah.
if it's
If
available.
there's any left.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe we need to sign another O-lineman, Canadian O-lineman, just to get by. Maybe insure us for camp in case something at 7 isn't worthy of the 7th pick.
Yep.
But hopefully a lot of D-line. Anyway, let's talk Major League Baseball. Mike Fears
These guys.
of the Oakland Athletics, former Astro, won his championship with the Astros. He said Thursday that people have threatened him physically, no shit, for blowing the whistle on the Astros cheating scandal. They've actually threatened his life. So I don't have a problem with him blowing the whistle.
Me neither.
I really don't. I mean, the only thing that I
Maybe we're not saying something sooner.
well, that's the thing. David Ortiz came out and he said, oh, I'll quote Ortiz here. Oh, after you make your money, after you get your ring, you decide to talk about it. Okay? And I agree a little bit with Ortiz. When you're in the middle of it and it's scandalous and you know it's cheating, a whistleblower blows it in the middle. You waited till you reap the rewards of the cheating.
Yeah, but
And
is he
then you
really?
said
Is he
something.
really reaping the rewards of
He has
it?
a ring.
No, I don't think so.
That ring is tainted now.
Yeah, no.
Because he did it.
Did
No,
he get a bigger contract in Oakland because he was a contributor?
That's possible.
You know, but how much more? He's a 34-year-old right-handed
Right.
relief guy. So
If you murdered someone and you admit it 5 years later, you're still going to jail.
fair enough.
And
Fair
they'd be
enough.
very happy that you at least admitted it 5 years later. Instead of taking a guy down, oh, you should have said it sooner. Well, he could have said nothing at all, and then we wouldn't know any of this.
Oh, on a side note here, on the sign stealing. So they had their first spring training game,
Yeah.
and the fans were taking signs to the game. They confiscated the signs. Some more sign stealing for you.
More sign stealing. Yeah. By the Astros, yeah. Okay. They just can't stop.
Wow.
That's pretty good. They should bring their security up to Canada and get rid of these protester signs if they're so good at it. Anyway, I kind of agreed a little bit with Ortiz. I just thought it was a really weird source to call out somebody on whistleblowing for cheating when Ortiz and his generation, and even specifically himself, was involved in the steroid and the PED scandals. His name came out as a PED guy, right? So why
That's why he doesn't like
didn't
snitches.
why didn't Ortiz? Wow, there you go. Is that why he got shot multiple times?
Well, I was gonna say I don't think
He's
Big,
thinking
Big
about
Poppy
snitching?
is really,
Yeah.
But I mean, for a guy like that's a little hypocritical to come out and be like, "You shouldn't have snitched now. You should have snitched then."
Yeah.
You had guys injecting all kinds of weird needles in their ass in your clubhouse, and you didn't say anything.
didn't say a peep.
He saw stuff.
Of course
He
he did.
may have even did stuff.
Of course he did.
And I'm a Red Sox fan. I love Ortiz, but there's a little bit of cloudy air around him. You know, so
And the Red Sox.
and the Red Sox, they're next. That's the thing. They haven't figured out the Astros. The Red Sox are also potentially involved in some kind of stuff. So, you know, Scott and I were talking on the way over here. Like, if you've got, and to me, this reeks, and piss poor leadership from their front office, the Major League Baseball front office.
Mm-hmm.
Their commissioner called it a piece of metal, the trophy. He had to
It's one
apologize.
misstep after another.
Like, if you do not have enough respect for the game that you call it a piece of metal, maybe you shouldn't be the commissioner.
well, especially
if
if
you
it's called
don't
the
have-
commissioner's trophy.
Well, there you go. But on top of that, if you don't have respect, right, for the trophy, you don't have respect
Then
for
why
the
are you
game,
playing it?
how are you going to demand respect, not just for your position or for the front office, but for the game itself? I think he went light on the Astros because I don't think the respect factor, there isn't a high integrity factor with him or baseball. That's just me.
The whole situation, MLB handled it like Astros were a spoiled child. They went to them and they said, if you tell us what happened to the players,
Yeah.
we're not going to punish you.
I'll give you a cookie.
I'll give you
Yeah.
a cookie. Everything will be okay.
And I don't know
And now
about
that that
you,
happened-
I still got punished.
Yeah.
And that's what should have happened,
Yeah.
right?
Whoa, I didn't think it was that bad.
You did what?
Yeah, you're grounded. Anyway,
But yeah, so I mean, they kind of gave the players the ability to tell the truth and not be punished for it. So
and that to
And
me
now
was a
that
bit
just-
of a mistake.
that was a mistake. Yeah.
To me, it also kind of shows there was a bit of a rushed investigation because they made their judgment, got rid of a GM and a manager, right?
They thought that was going to make
Suspension,
it go away.
$5 million, that was going to be enough. And that's like, now all this other stuff comes out, right? Even the opinion of the owner didn't change the outcome of the game. Holy shit. We looked up his net worth and where he made his money, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how he's a rich dude. How
Air
many
logistics.
how many recreational chemicals has your owner done?
Was it Bauer though? He said, what did he say? Either you're an idiot, something to the fact of like you're either a liar or an idiot, and a billionaire owner isn't an idiot, so you're a liar.
You're a liar. Yeah, that's fair, right? So if it was me, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we'll ask you guys what you think. What would you do to clean up the situation? Like, obviously the first punishment wasn't enough. More is coming out. There's players from other teams now that are just pissed.
The players need to be punished now. They need to take away.
And they're demanding more accountability
Yeah.
than the commissioner. So the public outcry, the other players from other teams, there's also got to be some further discipline. Not that it's the norm to discipline after the fact when you've already handed out
Yeah.
punishment. But what would you do?
I would say,
Well,
obviously,
didn't the NFL do that with Ray Rice?
After they
They
brought
did.
After the
Yeah.
backlash, it was
Yeah.
2 games, and then they went,
Yeah.
oh, well, I guess that
That's
wasn't
all you
enough,
gotta do,
right?
Change
Yeah.
your decision.
Yeah.
So my punishment, you take that World Series is not given that year. Just
It's vacated entirely.
yeah, it's vacated
What
entirely.
about Dodger fans who are pissed because they're putting
No,
together
because
their
they
own
It's not,
Yeah,
is it
they
really
didn't
gonna help
win.
them if you give them the
No.
trophy now? Like
Yeah,
they've
that's
already,
like-
the
to me-
vote's passed, but
Yeah, but to
Yeah,
me,
but
that's the
they're
same
very-
as saying that the
LA is very
Expos
left wing.
are the
They don't care
champs
about
there,
winning. They're okay with fucking participation ribbons and all that shit. The woke crowd, they'll want their championship. Yeah, but I'd vacate it. I mean, not saying you're wrong.
They have to.
There'd be maybe some outcry. So what would you say to an LA fan that said that?
You didn't
It should
win it
be us.
anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Suck it up, buttercup.
yeah.
Shut up, fool!
Shut up, fool.
There you go.
Exactly.
Mr. T's never wrong.
And as far as discipline, they play this year and they can't make the playoffs.
Would it be 1 year ban from playoffs?
I would just 1
Would
year.
you go multiple years?
1 year. Because honestly, well, you're
Wait.
kind of punishing their fans though too, right?
And how
Which
many
isn't
players
really
are
fair.
actually still on the team?
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
not like teams are the
I
same
mean,
every year,
I-
right?
I would, and there's roster turnover. So how long does the roster turnover take to kind of have a fresh crowd in there, mostly a fresh crowd?
Well, I would
Oh, yeah.
assume that
More
any
than
Depends
a
on
year?
if you
No.
make a clean
I would
sweep or
assume
not.
that any players that were involved should also be suspended for at minimum a season.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Just
Maybe
suspend every
that's it,
player
yeah.
for the year.
So,
1 year.
but the owner obviously knew something or doesn't think it's a big deal or
He
wants to
certainly
explain
doesn't
it
think it's a big
away.
deal.
Or, like you said, he's probably an idiot.
No, a liar.
A liar. Sorry, he's a liar.
Also an
um,
idiot though.
Yeah, so basically, he's a jackass.
When he did do his speech, he did like say it didn't affect the outcome. And then literally 30 seconds later, he said, "Yeah, it did affect the outcome." So
No, at first he said, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Still have the
Yeah,
audio
you did.
right here.
So he can't keep his thoughts straight. Once again, recreational chemicals. Anyway, me personally, I think they should get a 5-year ban from postseason participation.
What did
And
Mother,
the only
what did
way,
Mother Russia get from the Olympics?
not enough.
No, they got 2-year ban, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's an Olympics every 2
every
years.
4 years.
Every 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. It's like
But
state-sponsored cheating.
Me personally,
thing
I
with
think
sponsorship.
the owner, because they did punish the GM and the manager. They lost their jobs and they got suspended and that kind of thing. And $5 million is nothing. Me personally, if I was one of the other owners and I didn't like how this was rolling out and the integrity of the game is highly questionable at this point, I would say, listen, you guys can have a 5-year postseason ban, and every player who was in on it also gets a 1-year ban, and I'll remove the 5-year postseason ban only if the owner sells a team.
I'll pull the guy who...
He obviously is, like you said, an idiot or a liar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want an owner like that.
No, I like that idea. It's good.
Take the franchise away.
Yeah.
Right? He bought the franchise,
Sterling,
and you've
that's
seen-
the guy.
and you've
What
seen
they did to
right.
Sterling.
They
Yeah.
forced him
Yeah.
to sell
To sell.
the franchise. You're out.
Yeah, no,
Right?
100%. That's a good.
We want
solution.
thoroughbreds. We don't want jackasses, and you're a jackass, buddy. See
So
ya.
I tell you, if it was the NFL and they were damaging the shield,
Yeah.
they wouldn't put
They
up
wouldn't
with
have
it.
got to
You're
this
right.
because the
Machine.
shield is protected at all costs, right?
Mhm.
You know, and the NFL plays that way, kind of like they play on the field, right? Gladiators,
Mhm.
protect the shield.
Seems like a good segue.
Well, and it is, but Major League Baseball, not gladiators, not going out on their shield. When a hangnail can keep you from pitching for 2 weeks, sorry,
Not gladiators.
not gladiator. I think they call that a bitch. Anyway, I've had too many rye. Here we go. NFL also wants a new playoff format. They're going to add another team. I like it.
I like it.
The
I
top,
like it too.
the top dog gets a bye.
Mhm.
The second place guy, play your ass off.
Mhm.
And, you know, there's been some wild card teams that have ended up winning Super Bowls. It's not a common thing, but
It's not uncommon.
it's not uncommon. But some teams end up squeaking in or, you know, due to injuries, they're not quite on it all year. They get healthy at the right time, hot at the right time. It adds to that. It adds to the drama. It adds to the games. I personally think it's a pretty good setup to go 7. And let's face it, one more game on each side means one more team who gets the host, and the revenue goes up. It's an owner-eccentric thing because I believe they don't share in the profits from playoff games. They just on the regular season. I may be wrong about that, but I think it's probably something for the owners.
Mhm.
But then again, the players, they want to move to a 17-game season, which is being voted on, and there's
No, I
pretty
thought
much
the players didn't want the 17.
well, there's
the owners do.
Well,
Yeah,
that
they
seems
do,
to
and it's
stand to
part-
reason.
and it seems like and initially that the 17-game schedule wasn't maybe the biggest issue in the new CBA that they're voting on. It was the revenue split.
Well, and that was what I saw. I think it was. Oh,
And-
yeah, it's your little summary there, right?
The
Where
17-game thing is basically
a
there's
bigger
3
share.
camps. There's 3 camps on it. There's the hard nose, the yeses, and the hey, we're gonna make a little more money. I'm okay with it. Whatever they decide. The CBA proposal though on the table, the players, and this is just me, okay, but they voted 5-4 against it, and because it was so close, they got to go to the full membership to get everybody to vote on it, which could come back in results of who knows what, right? That
and they
to
could
me,
elect Trump.
why not? Some bitch makes money. Hey, until today, did you see the Dow Jones today down 1,000 points? All the near retirees in my office were just like having near heart attacks. 1,000 points. How am I going to do it? If you have to look at the stock market to figure out if you can afford to retire, you can't afford to retire.
Yep.
If you're that goddamn lean on it, you don't have the money. You know how you have the money to retire? You don't give a shit what the stock market does. Anyway, sidebar. You can tell I work with some contentious old dudes sometimes. Squirrel. To me, I don't care about the percentages. The players do, and I get it. But if you just went 50-50, right? NHL, right? They fight about the split. NBA fight about the split. NHL or NFL fight about the split. The CFL was talking about splitting the revenue 50-50. Just go 50-50. You can work out other little details, but essentially it's nobody's going to argue from either side. Because the second you get off,
48.5, sir.
but if you get off of 50-50, you look greedy. It's just done. This is just done. 50-50. I don't know how either side brings it up ever again.
Seems like common sense, right?
Well, common sense ain't common, Natty. That's the shitty part. But we live in Canada. We fucking know that. Because, holy shit, let's get a rail line going. But anyway, another squirrel. The one thing I did learn, though, that basically I said to Scott in the truck on the way over, was it's a full percentage equals $5 billion. Wow. So going from 47 to 48 is $5 billion more shared with the players, and then they go 1.5 the year after. That will be $7.5 billion.
And that's why
divide by 32.
Little percentages mean so much.
Yeah. It does. It does in that bigger picture, right? But I mean, 48.5, another 1.5 is a pretty good jump again to get to 50-50. So maybe you don't get it this one. If you just went 48.5 for the entirety of this CBA.
But it's a 10-year CBA.
Right. Maybe
wow,
you can
that's long.
Maybe you can get to 50 the next go around. But then again, with a bigger amount of money in 10 years, that's more than $5 billion a percent. It might be close to 8, 9. So maybe we'll have a work stoppage, and the only football we get is the Riders and the DC Defenders in the XFL. Me personally, the other thing I don't like with the 17-game schedule, if anybody's any kind of a math nerd,
Home and away
how exactly? Not everyone can host 9 games at home.
That's right.
If you're the Bills, you want 9 games.
Neutral site game at IG and Investors Group every year.
Does everybody play a neutral site game?
Well, and then you're not only having to split up regular season games, but you're also having to split up preseason games as well.
But you know what? I never actually
regular
thought of that. But it makes a lot of sense because they want to play more games outside of their. So that gives them each team can play.
It's hard
play
enough to do 4 games
yeah.
or 3 games a year neutral site. Now you've got 16 neutral site games to fit in.
Yeah.
Holy shit balls, Batman.
Yeah, why
They
not?
want to do back-to-backs in London now. They want to do in Japan.
And when the NFL says, hey, we're going to come put on a game, everybody goes, hey.
They're going to get an extra bye week for when they get the coronavirus.
Maybe.
Huh?
But
I don't want to see my
sense.
tailback with a paper mask on.
I didn't even think of that.
That makes a lot of
the
sense.
odd number, but yeah, that would make sense too. Why?
Well, it's
Because
sort of
otherwise,
the
how do you work
CFL
that
with
out?
an odd number of teams.
Or is it every second
makes
year
some-
you get 9 home games?
Maybe.
I'm sure there'll be some neutral site games though thrown in there now.
Maybe they throw 8 neutral sites, and then to me, it's a little bit messy. I like the 3 preseasons. Preseason's a little long. 2 isn't enough. 4 is too many. 3 is a good compromise.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would mean a 17th regular season. I mean,
I'm okay
give or
with
take.
extra games, but
Well, now what do you do about the records that have been set on 16-game schedules?
same thing that
Same
happens
thing
in
with
other
CFL.
leagues that went from 16 to 18.
Well, kind of the same thing with the NFL when they went from 12 to 16.
How many games have they always played the same number of games in the NHL?
No.
I doubt
Okay,
it. I don't
then
think they played an 82 game
there's your
schedule
answer.
when they had
It doesn't
16
fucking
games.
matter.
Used to be,
Oh,
used to be 80.
Matter.
Well, that's why Ovi's
Stop
going to
thinking
break.
about the past, Grandpa.
You guys call me a dinosaur all the time. Rawr, why is T-Rex so mad? If you had short
His
arms like
are too
that,
short.
couldn't reach your pecker.
Guy thinks of penis a lot.
Lots, yeah. It's my smarter head. The Bucks are looking to sign Winston to a 2-year deal.
I think it's a good
They
idea.
fixed him. They got LASIK surgery on his eyeballs last week. You have to sign him now.
As long as he
27
doesn't
a
have to
year
read
is the
anything,
deal.
it'll be fine.
27. Well, he can't read that. He probably knew it was a deal on crab legs that day. Didn't pay for him. $27 million per year on a 2-year deal. I think is actually not too bad
No, that's
considering. And then the first
Considering
year would
he's
be
got those
guaranteed.
brand new eyes.
Brand new eyes. He knows how many zeros are on the check now, Maddie. Holy shit.
And that means Dak is worth about 33.
Dak is bulking at 33.
I know.
Yeah. Cam Newton, I think he's getting dealt. It's looking like he's getting dealt.
I think it's 100. He's
Give me
getting dealt or released.
2 teams he would fit.
Chicago.
Fair enough. I said 2. What's your second one? Green Bay Packers.
Chargers.
Chargers?
He seems very Chargerish.
Chargerish. Can't get her done. Won't dive on that loose ball against the Broncos. Super Bowl. Chargering. I actually think Cam Newton might be either the consolation prize for Rivers not signing in Indy. I could see him being an Indy. I could also see him in being a New England Patriot.
I don't see him as a Patriot.
I don't know. He doesn't have a huge amount of money on his deal. If they can't get anything done with Andy Dalton, maybe Cam Newton. I think Bill's going to go with the vet if he doesn't have Tom.
Just doesn't seem like Bill's type quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't think that when Randy Moss went there, right? For example.
Yeah, that's a
there's
receiver.
Cam
times
Newton
you
would be limited to like no like scarves on your hair and a blue jean jacket, and then Bill would sign him. But he'd have to cut the sleeves off, go full Bruce Springsteen in Boston, and he's set. Hey, he couldn't be the
Derek
fashion.
Carr's going to end up in
Derek Carr wants to be
in Patriot land.
Derek Carr said he wouldn't mind if he has to leave Vegas to be a Chicago Bear.
Good for him.
And I think that would be a fantastic deal.
I think it'd be great.
Mitchell Trubisky should call Vince McMahon. I said it last week. Should call him.
Well, they both suck, so they can go into my division. Fine with that.
Breeze is coming back next year for 2020. Who has the better year next year, Brady or Breeze? Not that we know where Brady's going.
Breeze.
I think Breeze too.
Breeze.
I don't know where Brady goes.
It's not even.
No question.
No question.
So how is Brady going to get 35 million or 32 million?
Because he's Tom Brady. Not because he still has skills, but because he's
he's
Tom
got
Brady.
6 rings.
Yeah.
Not-
He will sell whatever millions of dollars in jerseys.
He's
he's
got
a
6 rings and only a few of them are tainted.
If he's a Las Vegas Raider, there's so much extra money that dude will make, man.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is now that the front runner may be the Tennessee Titans. I said it, and you guys are like,
I still don't think.
Tom Brady, young weapons, Vrabel, stud back, good line, underrated D. Yeah,
Can that stud back play like that again
for sure.
and stay healthy?
You can't undo being 260.
Well, no, you cannot do being big, but big guys get hurt.
They also have a pretty decent draft pick. They could reinforce the spot or sign a guy. Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah.
The combine starts in 3 days, not the old international or the John Deere. Like,
It's still too cold to start the combine.
yeah,
Like they run in Lipton.
yeah. Well, hey, there was dudes in early December grinding away because we gotta get that canola soaking wet into the bin so China can't buy it. Or pay carbon
I
tax.
was gonna say they wanted to pay that extra carbon
Hey,
tax.
did you hear? Okay, sidebar. Unconstitutional in Alberta was ruled today by the highest court in Alberta that you cannot charge carbon tax. It is unconstitutional and violates jurisdiction of the province.
So that's the Alberta Federal
So
Court.
that's Jason Kenney saying DX right here, JT,
Right. So now it'll go
Gerald
to.
Butts.
Now where does it go?
Now where does it go?
Probably to the Supreme Court. of
Well,
Canada, I don't know.
if sock puppet Prime Minister of ours wants
He's
to
not on
take
the
it,
Supreme Court.
no, but they can further pursue
Yeah.
it and take it to the Supreme
I
Court.
assume they would.
Try it. We're going. Saska's going.
Well, believe me, I don't want to pay the fucking carbon tax
I
either.
don't either. Fuck. You have to tax the air I breathe. As if you don't tax enough shit.
Actually, I should tax the air you breathe out.
CO2 makes plants grow. You should have 2 ferns over there. We could do Galifianakis between 2 ferns right
Except
now.
not funny.
Not funny? He's borderline
No,
funny.
he's funny. We
But-
aren't.
I could hang with him. He'd be all right. I'd have to do a lot of chemicals to hang with him. But anyway, sidebar on that. Squirrel is right. Combine starts in 3 days. I want to see how Chase Young grades out because he's the consensus number 2 player, probably the top player in the draft by ratings. how explosive he is. He's a difference maker. Maddie being a Niners fan, he's very much a Nick Bosa type.
Beauty.
He is going to get there. Also, if Henry Ruggs, who's a burner out of Bama, and T. Higgins out of Clemson, I want to see what their 40 time is. Not that I think either's going to be a bad receiver, but they're straight line speed guys, which can be complete busts. But if you have the all-time 40 record, they have a reason to mention your name 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now. And then quarterbacks, there's rumors that potentially 5 can go in the first round.
I think 3, maybe 4.
There'll be 4.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that, it's obviously Herbert, Tua, Burrow.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm. Fromm is pro-ready. The most pro-ready guy is Jake Fromm over everybody that's available. Played in a pro system from day one. And he held off 2 5-star blue chippers to keep the job along the way. Fromm is a very good, solid quarterback. Maybe not as much upside, but he knows how to play the position. So, but Love and Eason has a big arm. Love's a good player, mobility. They do well at the combine. They're kind of in that first, second round kind of area. If they do well, they could sneak in as another guy that gets there. So, anyway, I personally think Fromm isn't going to make it into the first. One of the other 2, probably Eason maybe is.
Maybe.
Anyway, 4 quarterbacks. CFL possible guys. I was looking through, and usually I get to like the 30th ranked prospect, and you're like, hey, that's about the CFL neg list kind of area. And there's a couple guys I want to kind of watch. One is out of Baylor. Baylor has a pretty wide, fast-paced system, so it fits the CFL game, or there's some parallels that could be used there. Jamichael Hasty, being a running back, I think he could be a pretty good CFLer. He's 5'8", 203, which wouldn't be a bad CFL size. He's probably not ever going to be an every down guy down there, but he has some decent hands. And Levante Bellamy, he is rumored to be able to run a 4.28 in the 40.
That's a hell of a 40 time.
That's fast.
And he's not a huge dude either, and he's pretty lowly ranked on the draft boards. But if he runs a 4.28 and can moderately catch, he can kick return. It could be a CFL bound guy. That would be cool to see a guy who runs a 4.3, mid 4.3s even, show up in the CFL. Yeah, that sky's the limit. Anyway,
We are in need of a kick returner.
we are, and even a backup back. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
XFL, another CFL free agent, Armani Edwards, formerly of the Argos, joined the XFL. His rights were picked up by Team 9.
Mm.
That's interesting.
Team 9 is a 35 to
reserves?
40 player training roster. So if you need a guy,
You go get a player
you
from
go
Team
get
9.
a Team 9. And it's coached by a group. It's like a practice roster for the whole league. And not that it's a bad idea, but it's,
So what are they getting paid to be on that?
I'm not even sure, but it's got to be decent money. I thought the lowest was 50 grand. So even if you're making 50 grand there, the uniqueness of it, I think it's because, 40 players at 50K a piece,
Yeah.
it adds up. Now, if you have 8 teams and they all have 10 guys, that's 80 guys. So it's,
Yeah.
a beginning league's way of maybe saving a few bucks, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I haven't seen anyone pick him up yet, but we'll see. He was also an ex-quarterback. So with the 2 forward pass rule in the XFL,
That's pretty cool.
that might be a guy you want to look at just
Mm-hmm.
for the odd play. The other one was Johnny Manziel. I don't know if you guys saw this.
He's back.
He's back, but then he's not back. Did you see what he said?
No.
No.
I'm reading it.
So he said a little while back that he's like, I don't want to join a league that's going to fold halfway through the year.
Yeah.
And now this week,
He did sign with that one,
he goes,
remember?
he goes on Twitter and he says, "Come get me," to Oliver Luck. And then he deleted his Twitter for, 2 days or something like that, because it was going to blow up. And then he comes back and says, well, I'm just starting shit. I like to stir the pot, basically. Johnny, I'll be real blunt. If you go to the XFL and wash out, Nobody's going to know your name other than in punchlines of jokes. Okay? If you go to the XFL, and I would advise you to do so, no one in the NFL is signing you. You've got more baggage. You've got more baggage than a plane can carry. And when you were in Canada, I'm pretty sure your carbon footprint's too big for a prime minister, so you can't be here anymore either. So, give the people what they want. Mediocre quarterback play isn't what they want, but that's what he said. So anyway,
XFL already has that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I want him to go there.
There are a couple of guys shined this week.
Walk the walk, fail if you're going to fail, and then just disappear from the lexicon. Like, see ya.
See you, Johnny.
Because honestly, if you're going to sign gimmicky guys, The Rock and Stone Cold could come play linebacker. I mean, we all watched what was the longest yard, right? Yeah, there you go. Not that The Rock was, but Stone Cold. He was a pimp in that movie. He was deadly. Anyway, Houston beat Tampa Bay. Good game.
That was a good
Watched
game.
it. Tampa Bay, 27 points. They only scored one touchdown the first 2 weeks, and it was a defensive touchdown, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it was at least they got
Good old
something
Mark
going.
Trestman. How did we lose 2 Grey Cups to that jackass? Oh, wait, Anthony Calvillo. That's how.
Well, yeah,
Nothing
if
to
he
do with
doesn't have a
Trestman.
quarterback, he can't.
Yeah,
He's
and they're all like, oh, he coached Rich Gannon back in the day. You mean 35-year-old super, veteran, knew all the defenses, Rich Gannon? So you didn't have to teach him shit. Yeah.
That's correct.
The ball is brown, it's over there. That's all he told him.
Yeah.
Dallas and
Yeah,
Seattle.
Seattle got brought back down to reality.
Yeah, Dallas actually is a team that won a game. So good for them.
They were
Maybe
picked
not the
to
Cowboys.
They were picked to win it all going in.
Yeah. Is all the media,
in teal.
is it all the media in Dallas? Just
And-
like all the media in Canada's in Toronto talking hockey?
It is. New York
Saint-
also got brought back down to reality.
A little bit. DC got brought back to reality. They were, I thought, going to run away with it, and then they shit the bed, they shit the curtains, they shit the drapes, everything. Yeah, not good. But
Cardell looked terrible.
he did 4
He looked
picks. But
terrible.
that's what you're going to get in that league. You're going to get some high highs and low lows, and it's going to be all over. And consistency is maybe what some of these guys are missing more than talent. So St. Louis and New York, St. Louis beat them. I don't know. The XFL isn't that bad. There's some good quarterback play, some good running back play, some good yardage out of some receivers. It's just really hit and miss if the game you're tuning into is actually going to be one of those
Well,
games where you
and
see it.
And that's my problem. You can't.
That's every league, though, really, right?
Right. And
Yeah, but if you're only playing 8 games and it's taken until week 4 or 5 before they start getting it together because you haven't really done a training camp,
Mm-hmm.
Tough.
that's a problem. That's
Tough.
a problem, especially right following the best of NFL.
yeah, no, true. But I mean, honestly, if they can just get through the season, pay everybody, develop some systems, have some teams,
They'll be here
work
for
out
3
some
years.
kinks. Yeah, I think they're only going to get better if they can get through the first year because they can work out kinks, can find some better ways to do some stuff. So
To me, it's just the talent on the field at this point. I like most of the rules. I like the flow of the game and everything. I think
Well,
it's pretty good.
and you may see in future if they get to the end of year 2, maybe the NFL approaches them with, hey, I got a few guys here, practice roster guys, they could use some seasoning. Just like we release players in the CFL to go to the NFL, maybe they let some guys from their practice rosters go there with the understanding they'll come back. They'll be better players if they play a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there is that NFL Europe sort of a situation a little bit,
Yeah,
but
it's hard to say.
it could help their talent level too. So anyway, and I'm going to end this on a really funny story. You know how you're
Of course you are.
I'm scrolling.
Just so everybody knows, Heath picks the itinerary for the show. So you'll just guess what the
If we
last
talk-
story is going to be about.
If we talked Riders and Packers the whole time, you'd be like, I told him to set the itinerary at the Packers and the Riders.
Yeah, well,
Anyway, we had Wiener Wednesday last week on
last
a Monday. Lots of Wiener stories. I got ridiculed somehow in this podcast about Wieners. Anyway, I'm scrolling through my feed, and what do I see? This news outlet that put out the story, and not that I read a lot of European sports type information, but in the B League, essentially second division in the French pro soccer league. Okay, a soccer player in France was suspended for 5 years. So I click on it, right? And I'm like, 5 years? Like, what does a guy do to get 5 years, right? Zach Cassian, like, ninja kicked a guy with a skate and got 7 games. So what do you got to do for 5 years? So what happened was 2 players from the game got into a little altercation in the parking lot after, right? Like total Happy Gilmore in the parking lot. Yeah. Anyway, this guy intervened. He wasn't one of the 2 original combatants in the whole thing, in the altercation. Okay. He jumped in to break it up, or well, maybe other reasons. So we'll disclose in a minute. But he jumps into the whole thing between these 2 guys to break it up or whatever. In the process of intervening, that guy who intervened, he steps in to break up the fight, and he was bitten in the dick and got 10 stitches. So the guy
sounds like a Lipton bar fight.
Well played. I walked right into that one. Anyway, 10 stitches in the dick. I only got 3 when I got to the snip. Like, that is a big ass gag.
That says more maybe about the size of your...
They only needed to reach the tube.
Three
He was very
stitches.
efficient. Actually, he was a little Asian guy. He made it look huge with those tiny hands. But he bit the guy on... Like, if you're in a fight, even if you're down, you turtle or... Like, what do? You snap your teeth at his crotch? Like, how do you end up in a situation where you bit him on the dick?
Sounds
As a
like something that would happen in
self-defense move?
Florida.
That's like a self-defense move. Yeah. Anyway, I clicked on it thinking, well, 5 years is
Clicked
pretty
on it
major.
thinking there was going to be pictures.
I bet
They actually didn't say
he
that.
saw soccer penis. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah. Holy cow, David Beckham's got Chad. No God.
My favorite things.
Anyway, holy shit.
But thank you for not putting any pictures in the
No worries.
thing.
No
I
worries.
appreciate it.
I will put a greasy, pantsless soccer player from France in there.
Please
Did you know the French actually invented the blowjob?
Well, I'm glad they did.
Yeah, but not on a man.
Well, whoever taught it to the opposite
A lot
sex.
of French guys in
Thank
Cuba are just saying. Women are ugly and the sheep are skittish. Anyway, that was my funny little ending.
It was an ending.
That I
alright.
walked right into a well-played, well-timed.
Well, you
hack.
officially made it the longest show we've ever done.
Well, fuck.
And the best part is that only like the first, 20 minutes was live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we haven't been live.
Or we're just booking the rest?
We're just recording it and then we'll put it out.
Yeah, we
Okay.
had some
There were
It all
some
worked.
issues.
What's the issue?
Yeah.
Heath had too many whiskeys.
Nah, there were some technical issues, so if you're
'Kay.
listening to this later, we're sorry that we weren't live for the whole time, but we will again next week.
We're barely above average. Let's
Barely.
not forget.
Just slightly.
Okay? Scotty's way above average.
Way above. That's why we brought him in.
But he lives west.
But that does it for episode
Only
11.
below the waist.
That was episode 11 of the Above Average Shows podcast. I'm Kyle,
Heath,
and he's Diane. Scott, thanks
Thanks
for
for
coming in,
having me,
bud.
guys.
Thanks for coming
much
in.
appreciated. We'll have you back. It was a blast.
For sure. And Matt back in the control room, and we'll catch you next week. Laters.
Laters.
Yep.